Screen share, screen two. Beautiful. So we're going to start talking about today why the heck we do all this. What's the point of it all? Why am I here this morning? Why do I want to keep coming? What am I in real estate for? And so, Julia was asking what you're hoping to get out of Ignite. Today's going to be more about what you're hoping to get out of real estate. Like, why are we doing this? We're going to talk about today what we call our big why. Just why do we get out of bed every day? What's the goal? Where are we trying to take our lives? What do we want to accomplish out of this? And for some of you, you may already know. You may have that defined. One of the things I always struggled with is, especially when I was younger, was when we would do these big why and get real deep and get into your feelings. I'm not a huge feelings guy. My girlfriend can tell you that. I get a little bit of trouble for that. But I didn't know my big why. Like, why was I doing this? Like, I was 25. I didn't have kids. I wasn't planning on having kids in the next couple of years. I feel like with the parents, their big why tends to be their children. And I'm like, that's cheating. That's not fair. I didn't have that. My dog, as much as I love her, probably shouldn't be my big why. But what I learned over the last few years is your big why can be a combination of a lot of little things, of goals you're hoping to accomplish in your life, of the things you're wanting to do. So it doesn't, even though we're going to talk about a big why today, it doesn't have to be one thing. And it's okay if you're still discovering it. And so we're going to dig deep today to help you guys kind of start to figure out what your big why is. I don't expect you, they tell us, we're going to do like a little 10-minute activity. And at the end of it, we're all supposed to know our big why. Like, I don't expect you to figure out like the purpose of life in 10 minutes. Good gosh, some of us spend our whole lives going through trying to figure out what that big why is. So it's not going to happen in a 10-minute exercise, but we're going to try to dig a little deep and think today. Let's see if I got my little remote's going to work for me. So your big why. I know she asked today, what are you wanting to get out of Ignite? But this is a question, and I ask when I get to recruit and meet with new agents, is what do you want to get out of real estate? Why did you decide, when you decided to get your real estate license, why? What was the reasoning? I think my favorite answer I've ever been given is Natalie over at Lawyers Title, when she was our assistant team leader, and I were meeting with a new agent. It was 9 o'clock in the morning, like a Tuesday, and walked into the conference room, and the second we walked in, we both kind of looked at each other because you could just smell the whiskey. Younger dude, probably about 23, and Natalie looks at him, and we're about a minute into the meeting, and she looks at him and she goes, so why are you here? What do you want to get out of real estate? He goes, I don't know. My mom told me I needed to be here. Natalie just took her notebook and said, you know what? When you're ready to be serious, come on back. And that was probably the most interesting answer I've given to that question. Ultimately, I think when I started, and my answer is not a whole lot different today, is opportunity. That's why I got into real estate. It's a really amazing opportunity. Each day is challenging, but the opportunity that each day brings. This is the only job I know where you can give yourself a $300,000 raise, like today. Some of you guys are in like your first week and literally you can give yourself a $300,000 raise today. I don't know another job where you can do that. Because real estate is the amount of work and effort you put in is going to determine the outcome. So if I have an agent that made $150,000 last year and they want to bump themselves up to $300,000, we just got to figure out, do we double the efforts? Do we stick our efforts elsewhere? But you can do that. I don't know many other jobs that provide that kind of opportunity. One of the cool things about real estate is once you get that license, it opens up so many doors. I had no idea 12 years ago that I would ever have the opportunity to be a productivity coach and get to teach classes and get to move out to the West Coast and get to do that and get to travel and teach and do all the cool things I've had to. I didn't know what those opportunities were, but I knew I wanted to create opportunity for my life. And real estate was the vehicle I did that. I'm not going to lie to anybody and tell you that, like, when I was 13, I was at school when they'd ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? My answer was never a real estate agent. Both my parents were in it, so I at least knew it was a career option. And I didn't grow up passionate about selling real estate. I'm 36 and I'm still waiting to either have my growth spurt and grow to 7 feet tall so that I can go play for the Mavericks, or to kind of have one of those rookie of the year kind of stories where I fall down, break my arm, and now I can throw a fastball 105 miles an hour and I can go pitch some innings for the Rangers. Probably not going to happen. But what's really cool about real estate is it allows me to enjoy those passions. I'm a big sports guy. I've gotten to go watch baseball games in really cool, unique places because I've had the ability, because I have a career in real estate. I get to play sports because I have a job that allows me that time off to get to do that. So real estate has really been a vehicle to help me pursue my passions, to get to travel, to get to move to a part of the country I never thought I would get to live in. So my goal when I got into real estate was to help provide my life opportunities. I was a 24-year-old bartending, making $30,000, $35,000 a year, working 7 days a week at the bar most nights till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, going home at 5, sleeping till 2, getting up, doing it all again the next day. Fun, yeah. A lot of opportunity in that life? Not really. And a lot of the guys I worked with were 50 years old, making the same amount of money I was, living the same kind of life I was. And while it was fun for me at 25, I could kind of look at those 50-year-olds and I realized just for me, that wasn't necessarily the route I wanted to go. Nothing wrong. Some of those are some of the happiest people I meet. So my little brother got out of real estate about 2 years ago, and he's back to bartending at a yacht club in Santa Cruz. And when I talk to him on the phone, I can tell he's happier doing that. Real estate wasn't his thing. He kind of got into it because everybody else in the family was. I don't think he ever felt like there was opportunity for him. This wasn't something he had any passion for. And so he didn't want to be successful at it. And so I think he allowed himself not to be. And so he's happier doing that. And that's awesome, man. I want my brother to be happy. And so I'm proud of him that it took a little bit of courage for him to call my parents who are in real estate and say, hey, I'm not doing this. I'm going to go back to being a bartender. It's not something that's an easy phone call when you're in your early 30s, but it's what makes him happy. And so we got to figure out, we got a short enough time on this world, find out what we enjoy doing and make sure you go out and do it. And that's one of the things I try to work with on coaching is making real estate fun and figuring out how can we make this a business you enjoy doing every day. But so who's willing to share kind of why they got into real estate?
I think it's, I'm in my 50s and the kids are all out of the house and it's an ageless job. When I was looking, I'm a career woman, I've held executive positions, but when I went to look for another job in the corporate world, it's once you get over 50, then it's harder and you're at a different level too of what you're looking for. So this is ageless. And I also think that from a personal perspective, not this is the younger generation.
No.
But I think when you're a little bit more mature looking, when you're helping millennials, they feel like even if you've only been doing it for a year, you've been doing it for 10 years, there's some kind of experience or expertise that comes from being older or worldly or having had 8 houses myself and going through that process, there's some experience in that I can speak to. So I feel like it's an ageless career. You can do it for however long you want, and you are driving your own business. And I've had my own business too, and I've had inventory, and I've had people and responsibilities, and really your asset in this business is yourself and your time and how much passion and dedication you're going to give to it. So you're not sitting on millions of dollars of inventory. It's not your house. You are working for somebody. You're providing the service.
You're betting on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And really, at the end of the day, it's their house and it's their money, and you are trying to just help them get the best deal possible. But what you said in the first thing where James Tan said, it's their decision, not your decision. So at the end of the day, put your head down on the pillow knowing that they made the decision, you weren't making the
Yep.
decisions. So
And I sleep well knowing that I gave them the best information.
exactly.
But you nailed it, with the youth factor. It was tough my first couple of years trying to sell homes when I had never owned a home. It's kind of like when I was 18 and I was a bartender. It was really tough to upsell alcohol when I couldn't legally go order it at a bar. Tough to sell a home, but there are ways to overcome it. One of the things I had to do was go get that education. For those of you that are a little bit younger, she's right. There's something that comes with owning multiple homes that allows you to speak with a little bit more of authority than I was able to. So for me, it was going out, meeting with home builders, learning about the home building process, really diving in and finding out as much information so that I could overcome that objection if it ever got thrown at me. One nice thing I'll tell you though, I never had age thrown in my face as an objection. As long as I presented myself professionally, I'll tell you, when I was younger, I dressed up a little bit more. As I've gotten a few gray hairs, I feel like, all right, we're okay wearing some jeans and some nice slacks. Man, I was 25. And you'll notice when you go to the conventions, and something I've definitely noticed, the 40 and under crowd, typically at the convention, suit, tie, sometimes a three-piece suit. The 55 and up group, they're typically in a nice pair of Dockers, got on a nice over jacket with a comfortable pair of shoes. Man, they've been there. They know they're not dressing to impress everyone. So that's just something I've observed over the years. But it is an ageless job. I think last time I checked, the average real estate agent in the state of Texas was 58 and female. Just give you an idea of the demographic. One thing I will say, over the decade I've been in this business, it is starting to trend younger.
Oh, and I will say that the millennials, our younger generation, you've got us on technology, and that's where this industry is going. So I definitely want to surround myself with that younger generation too, to be successful in this business, because hands down, my kids have me on technology, and that'll be super.
Oh, I'm about to get run out of the paint on technology. I was watching my 4-year-old nephew on YouTube over the holidays. He's got his iPad, and I mean, he was able to like pull up the Blippi show that he wanted to watch, immediately like fast forwards to a clip, zooms it out, then closes it out. It's like, he couldn't tell you what he was doing, but he can do it. And that's the difference. These kids today are literally growing up at the age of 3 with technology. I'm not going to be able to keep up. I watch 20-year-olds and I'm like, crap, I'm losing my edge, man. So it happens, but it is an ageless job, and that's cool to me. This is something I still see myself being in real estate for the next 30, 40 years. What that's going to look like, what this industry looks like, I have no idea, but I want to continue to pursue the opportunities. Who else wants to share? Anybody online want to share why you decided to get your real estate license? Nobody?
I'll share. I decided to get my license because I've been surrounded by it, but I'm intrigued on just the lack of a ceiling, I guess I'll say. Like, there's so many opportunities in real estate. So while this is just one facet of it, I like to engage people. I like to see the lifestyle that real estate actually affords. And I like to do this on a much larger scale, but I feel like this is a good starting point.
Got to start somewhere. Might as well start today and get rocking and rolling.
Exactly.
So who in here envisions their life just staying the same? Anybody get in here into real estate to just keep that curve just going on a flat line? Who in here got in here to improve their lives? I hope that's everybody. That's the opportunity is there. And that's something you want to start to improve. What would success look like? This question I always ask when we meet one-on-one is, I'm going to ask you, if you and I are sitting here a year from now celebrating a successful first year of real estate, what does that look like? And I get 2 types of answers. I get some people that can tell me the dollar. A lot of times I get back, well, I want to make $100,000. And a smaller percentage of people tell me what they want their life to look like. And so that's what I take the people that give me the money and I ask you, so if we made $100,000 next year, or whatever your financial goal is, how's life different? What are the things you could do? Would you be able to take those trips? I talk about being a big sports fan and this business giving me opportunity. My dad and he was always my baseball coach growing up. And so we're big baseball guys together. And I'll never forget in 2012, the school he went to, Texas Christian University, won their first trip to the College World Series in Omaha. And I was able to, while we were watching the game on the couch on a Sunday afternoon, they were playing Texas, University of Texas down in Austin. The winner of the game was going to get to go to Omaha. As soon as I saw that TCU won, I went back into their computer and I booked 2 tickets to Omaha and bought tickets to the next 5 TCU games. And so my dad and I were able to spend 6 days up in Omaha, eating barbecue, eating ice cream, and watching baseball together. That's because of real estate. That I had a job I was able to get the time away from on literally a moment's notice. I was fortunate that we have a team, so my mom was able to help cover our business. Those of you that are solo agents, you're going to get to partner up with other agents. That's how we get vacations. Is I call Mike and I say, hey, Mike, I'm actually going to be heading out of town this week. Is there a chance you'd be willing to kind of just, if anything pops up in my business, would you be able to handle it? Hopefully I tie everything up with my clients so this weekend they don't need to go out and look at homes. But this market's hot. I might have a buyer that calls me 9 a.m. on Saturday morning while I'm heading to the airport saying, hey, we'd love to go see this house. Looks like there's a deadline at 5 p.m. today for the offer. So I got to call my partner and say, hey, Mike, I told you I was hoping nobody wanted to see anything. The Johnsons, they want to go take a look at a house today anytime before 4 p.m. Would you be able to show them? And so because I made arrangements beforehand, Mike kind of knew that call may be coming. And so you're going to have partners. And then I want Mike to call me when he goes out of town. And so this job allows you those kind of opportunities, stuff that if you would ask 25-year-old me if I would ever be taking my dad and treating him on a vacation, I'd have never thought that was going to be something that would happen in my life. The next goal is to treat my parents to retirement at some point. That's kind of moving in towards my big why. Is my parents have bailed me out of life, literally bailed me out, but have helped me, opened up doors for me that I never thought was possible. I want to one day be able to repay that. I want to be able to tell my mom she doesn't have to go out and sell homes anymore. I want to tell my dad he has that same option. I know he'll never take it. I've heard somebody on the last call that was talking about how their parents, once they quit working, that's probably the end. Like my dad's one of those guys, I'm going to just have to give him an office and let him just like have papers in front of him, even if he loses his mind. Because that's where he's one of those dudes. He comes from a different generation than I do. He grew up in a military family. He is up every morning at like 4:30. When I would live at the house, I would hear him at like 5 o'clock out on the exercise bike. And then at 5:30, he'd knock out like 30 minutes of randomly learning how to play the guitar. He stays up till 11 at night. He sleeps like 5 hours a day, and it blows my mind. I am a much different person. But what's cool is because of these experiences, we've got to know each other better. And so it's the opportunities that real estate provides. And so start thinking about, man, if I find success, when I find success, what is life going to look like? How is it going to be different? What vacations are you going to go on? Would you move to a new home? Would you have a new car? Would you be able to put money away for savings? Would you be able to purchase your first investment property, purchase your 5th investment property? What could we do with success? And that's where the big why kind of starts to come in. So what limiting beliefs do you guys have? What is a limiting belief? One of mine, my first year was, I'm too young. That was a limiting belief. Well, I'm too young. I've never owned a house. How can I sell a house? Well, because I took the time to go get educated. I figured that was my limiting belief. So I met with everybody I could to get as many. I asked millions of questions. I was at a knowing you guys would have hated me in Ignite. That I asked 50 questions every day. I was asking questions. I was 25. I didn't know. So I made sure I got myself that education so that that would no longer be a limiting belief. That I knew I had spent the time working with home builders, had spent the time talking with title pros, had spent the time meeting with lenders, spent the time masterminding with other agents, so that the fact that I was 25 was no longer a limiting belief. That I did bring something new to the table. I was more tech savvy than the other 2 agents on my team. So that was one of my big limiting beliefs. What do you guys have? What do you think might stop you?
Health. Something happens to me. My wife and I, she's an agent here, has been for 10 or 12 years. My desire, my why was to be with her and to be able to focus together on something that is important to her, has become important to me. Health is a big issue. I'm 78 years old. I had a successful career as an engineering manager, 43 years. This is a new career of change. I have 3 degrees in engineering. This is not engineering, but it's process driven. It makes sense. And I'm a process kind of person. So as long as I have good health, the Lord smiles on me, I want to be able to work and do well.
So that's something that's gotta be a priority of yours.
It is.
Just like for me, it was getting education and getting as much experience as quickly as I can, knowing that that's something that could get in the way of your success. There's some limiting beliefs that are probably all just mental. That's, I think we all hopefully have seen in 2020, man, that's something a lot of us have probably taken advantage of. It's just assuming I'm gonna wake up every day and be in good health. And so it's having a plan in place and making fitness and healthy lifestyle choices a big priority. And that's something I've had to do. 2020 kind of showed me that, yeah, when they started listing off some of the like conditions that may cause you to suffer worse, I'm like, ooh, maybe like not eating the healthiest stuff, maybe not going to the gym. I decided to join a gym for the first time in like 10 years. I'd always played sports, but never really like done cardio. It was kind of a pain in the ass, like didn't really enjoy it. You know what? I want to be here in 50 years. I want to enjoy life. I want to get the most out of it. We were going on hikes and I was getting a little more winded than I thought I should be at 36. So it's something that became even cognizant for me. So it's putting a plan in place so that isn't something that's going to cause you. Obviously, there's some things that are completely out of our control, but know that, if you make the right decisions, it's going to extend your career for quite a while. Who else has a limiting belief?
I don't know if it's really a belief, but it's because I'm an introvert, being able to go out and meet someone, cold call, that kind of thing, that scares the shit out of me. I am not that type of person, so I have to really extend myself to be able to do that. And that's part of why I'm hoping that this program will help me to ease into that than what I have in the past.
For sure, and that's why we're going to explore so many different ways to lead generate. Because there are ways that are for those social butterflies. There's ways to do it. But there are ways for the folks that maybe are a little more hesitant to go out into a crowd and start talking to people. It's building more meaningful connections, making sure that the time with people counts, and that we're finding so it's going to be discovering ways that are going to be comfortable. But also one of the things in real estate, and this is one of the first trainers I had when I took Bold, said this and kind of stuck with me. He said, at some point, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's not easy to hear. But there are some things we do that aren't the most unique, and I used to worry, well, I don't like being sold to this way, so I would never sell to somebody else that way. We have to also realize that sometimes how we would react isn't how everyone would react. The guy who invented the Dodge pickup truck, he really liked blue trucks. However, he also knew that some people like red trucks, and some people like black trucks, and some people like yellow trucks. So Dodge made trucks of all colors. Then he realized that, some people don't like trucks. They like cars. So Dodge made cars. And so it's knowing that just because it may not be for me, doesn't mean it won't work with other people. And so that's something to keep in mind. But absolutely, that is a limiting belief. Am I going to be able to talk to or get comfortable enough to meet enough people? And so it's figuring out what form of lead generation is going to work best for you. For some, it may be more of a networking. I'll never forget one of the Bold classes I took. This was back when everyone told you had to get on the phone, you had to call random strangers, you had to ask everybody who do you know looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. And we were in Bold one day, and the coach was talking, and she said she had a new client who was an ex-lawyer and wanted to make $250,000 in a year, and told her that, hey, I am not going to pick up the phone and call a random person. And I sat back in my chair thinking, oh, she's going to say, I told this agent, you can't be a real estate agent if you're not going to call random people. And she said, I looked at that agent and I said, totally cool. You just need to be in a networking meeting 5 days a week. Is what was comfortable for that agent was meeting people face to face in small group settings. So then make sure that that's your lead generation. So if the idea of getting on the phone literally terrifies you, and I have seen it in bold, I have seen agents in tears because they do not want to get on the phone. And I see these coaches push you through. Man, we only get so much time on this life. There's plenty of stuff I'm not good at that I could get better at. But there are some things in this world that I was given natural abilities to. And so I'd rather build my business that drove me towards working with my natural abilities than worrying about the stuff that maybe I'm not as good at. Once I've mastered the stuff I'm good at, then we'll go and work on that stuff. But so let's build a business that is going to fit more towards your natural abilities. That's why we're going to discuss so many different ways to do this business, so that you're not penciled into having to call random strangers or having to go to networking meetings with 500 people and stand up on stage. So we're going to find what's more comfortable for you and make sure that we can build a plan out of that.
Do you feel like COVID, the big thing was always door knocking? Nowadays, because of COVID, I don't want anybody knocking on my door and coming and soliciting. Do you feel like this industry is changing dramatically because of that, or how you make your contacts is gonna be
Perhaps more social media, which you would be probably more inclined to use.
I think we've definitely seen, some offline lead generation get put online. I do know there are still agents, and we're going to talk about door knocking. I still know there are agents that are door knocking in the midst of the pandemic. I'm kind of with you. I wasn't thrilled when people showed up at my door, but they do. It's funny, every time somebody would knock on my door, I immediately want to get pissed. And I'm like, how dare you knock on my door? And then I remember I've been doing that for the last 12 years. So I did a deal this year where, because we had just moved in May, so I had a deal where if they knock on my door, I'll let you pitch me. I need you to fill out a voter registration. So I kept stacking voter registrations. I felt like this year was a pretty important one to vote on. So I sold them, but I also had to remember, this is what I do. Door knocking was an effective way. I hope we get back to the point where you can at least comfortably feel. There's always going to be people that don't enjoy people showing up at their door. There's always going to be agents that would never do that. And social media is absolutely a way to substitute, to create ads. So definitely, I think we've seen a switch from offline to online. It's definitely become a big player. And the agents that pivoted quickly have really taken advantage of it. I told you guys that we interviewed a rookie of the year who's in his second year about to double his business. And I asked him how he built his business, and he told me Facebook ads. And when I asked him, what would you do differently in your first year? He said, I'd have doubled or tripled the amount I spent on Facebook ads. There's absolutely a huge push towards the online. Thing with an online lead generation is it's more of a numbers game. It's how many leads. Typically, I need about 50 leads to get one transaction. Where I feel like if I can have 20 conversations face to face, I'll probably be able to pull at least an appointment out of that. So it becomes just a numbers game. Door knocking for me, I enjoyed it. Never had anybody be too rude to me at the door. To me, beautiful sunny day like this, man, I love being outside. I have other agents that, you couldn't pay them to door knock, and that they work online solely. I got a buddy who feels he's the ISA for his own team, and he's on the phone all day with internet leads. That sounds like a miserable day to me, just being on the phone all day. What he loves doing. I'd rather be out in the field. I'd rather go out and meet people. And so that's what's fun, is there's so many different ways to do it. But you're right, we've absolutely seen a push from offline onto more online-based marketing. With everything going on. And that trend will probably, even after we get out of this, will continue. There is no doubt about that. So this is a chart you're going to see basically every class we do. So two kinds of things. So as I said, Gary Keller will tell you, you're in two businesses. The first business is the business of lead generation. Because without leads, what? That's right. Without leads, what?
nothing else matters.
Online people, I know you're on mute, but without leads, you do know nothing else matters. Damn straight, whoever joined us here. I appreciate you. But it's true. And there's actually a quote that we're going to go over today from Gary that's like just a long version of without leads, nothing else matters. And so really your left-hand side here is lead generation. And then the right-hand side is your second job. That's the business of real estate. And so successful agents every day, they lead generate for buyers and sellers. They make seller listing presentations and get listings. They make buyer presentations and get listings. And then they preview real estate. And then the real estate side of the business over on the right-hand side is we have to market those listings. We have to physically go out and show buyers homes. We have to negotiate contracts. We have to manage the transaction all the way from start to finish. We have to manage the vendors. Man, there are days you feel like you are a general contractor. I've got a listing going on the market probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's a older couple and they're moving into a retirement facility. There's a lot we need to get done in their house. They're in their mid-80s. They're pretty freaked out about everything going on health-wise. They do not want a bunch of people going into their house. So they're going to move out before we even get any of the work done. Who do you think is going to be coordinating all that work? That's me. Do I get paid anything for that? Nope. It's just part of the transaction. Setting goals, compliance and risk management, attend training and get coaching, manage your money. These are the real estate side of things. These are the lead generate. I got to go out, generate the leads, and I got to go meet with buyers and sellers. Because without those leads, nothing else matters. Now, what happens and what we see that kills a lot of people's business is they do this, they get a transaction, and then they only do this part. And they quit doing this because they're dealing with their transaction. And that's where when we set these goals, you'll see to net $100,000 at our average sales price, takes roughly about 2 homes a month. And when I say net, that means you have paid Uncle Sam. You've paid all your marketing costs. You've paid your Tablet Color Williams, and you are going to walk away with $100,000 of which you may do whatever you want to. 2 deals a month, not the most difficult. But what happens is we see agents, I lead generate my ass off this month, it's January. I go out to find 2 buyers and sellers. And so all of February, all I do is focus on showing my buyer, getting my home listed, dealing with that, and getting those deals to fruition. So I get them both under contract in February and we close the deals in March. Well, the problem is during February and March, I didn't try to grow my business at all. All I focused on was running it. And so now I look up and it's April 1st and I have no pipeline. I just closed 2 deals. I got enough money to probably make it 2 or 3 months, but I'm also 2 to 3 months away from getting business. And so now I have to go lead generate the whole month of April. Maybe I go find 2 more transactions and I work with them over May and we close the deals out in June. Now it's July and I'm back to zero. And so it's continuing, the agents that continue to grow their business while running their business are the ones that we find that have more success. And one of the things we're going to talk a lot about is time blocking and creating a schedule that will allow you to do both. Knowing that almost 95% of the things over on that run business side can be done in the afternoon. So if I can set my mornings up to grow my business and allow my afternoons to run my business, then I will have time for both. And so that's one of the things we've got to learn to be dedicated to our time blocking. And we're going to talk a lot about time blocking and building a calendar that allows you to be successful. And so you've got to find time to continue to grow your business. Because I understand, especially your first couple transactions, you get so excited that you're getting to now run your business that we forget to keep growing it. And then you look up, it's been 3 months and you're like, oh crap, I have no business coming in. And if I'm not getting paid today, the joke we always say is if you're not getting paid today, you can look back 60 to 90 days ago and go, that's why. Not that I didn't work today, it's that 60 to 90 days ago, back in November back in October, maybe the holidays came and I shut it down. You'll hear, and we'll tell you, agents kind of, some of them take off from about Halloween through about Valentine's Day. They don't take off, they just don't do anything, so they might as well take off. Don't be those agents. Fourth and first quarter has always been my team's most successful. I find it's a great time to be reaching out to folks, helping them make the move before the end of the year, getting them in before the new school year. Hey, new year, new goals, let's go get stuff accomplished. But those efforts come from the lead generation. That's how we generate my ass off in the summer and the fall. And so the winter and the spring tend to be very fruitful for us. So it's that consistency of doing both. If anything, like I said, this is the one thing we probably can't sell you a magic bullet for. I can hire people to go close the deals for me. Prefer not to. That's a skill. You can learn it. No need to. Really can't pay somebody to preview the real estate. So really this side is the tough side. Can't really find somebody to do this. All of this, oh, we can pay somebody to do all of that. I can absolutely have an admin do all the marketing for my listing. There's companies that will do listing in a box that literally you give them the listing, they print out all your marketing, set it up all online, it's all done. I can hire a buyer's admin, an assistant to go out and show. That's what my brother did the first 3 years. He was a showing assistant. All he did was unlock doors. Then if they were ready to write an offer, the rainmaker wrote the offer and negotiated the deal. He solely just showed homes. I can absolutely hire a negotiation expert. A lot of us use a transaction coordinator, so I'll leverage that out. Vendor management, my admin can handle all that. Setting goals, okay, that's kind of personal. That's going to be on me. Compliance and risk management, my transaction coordinator can leverage that out. Training and get coaching, it's kind of on me. Manage my money, I can absolutely hire somebody for that. But what I can't do is have somebody typically grow my business. That's going to have to be on me. And so that's where the focus is lead generation. Secret to being a successful real estate agent, there is no secret. Success leaves clues, so we know exactly what successful agents do every day. Every day, agents do 2 types of activities. They grow their business and they run their business. These are the activities that will help you achieve your big why. I remember Gary had this couple on from, I think it was Arizona. They're probably in their late 60s, early 70s. And when they bring you on stage, they put your previous year's totals on stage. And I think they had done about 500 million in volume, little team. And they were the most just salt of the earth kind of people. To the point where if you ever get to experience Gary Keller, he doesn't have a BS filter. He tells it like he sees it, and sometimes it's a little harsh. And he told these people, you're like the least dynamic people I've ever had on this stage. And I mean, I thought it was rude as hell. And he goes, but then I look up, and you guys sold $500 million in real estate. How did you do it? And they were just so sweet, just soft-spoken. Well, you know, Gary, we wake up every morning and we just lead generate. We went to one of the conventions about 10 years ago, and you said, and we have to lead generate every day. So that's what we do. We get up, we have our database, we call them each once a quarter, try to take them out to lunch when we can, and we just lead generate every day. It's 500 millions. I mean, we don't take a day off. That's it. That's one of the things you'll notice when you get to go to these conventions. It almost frustrates you. I like to think I'm a fairly intelligent person, and I sat there and I would watch these people on stage and I'm like, they're morons. Some of them aren't that smart. What they are is they're consistent. They figured that part out. Sometimes the more intelligent people, we try to think it has to be so much more. It can't be that easy. I have to be able to use my intellect and be able to outthink everybody. No, man, just keep it simple, silly. They lead generate every day. That's it. They're consistent about it, and they build amazing businesses. So while I may be like poor, but telling myself, you're really smart, buddy. They're like, I don't know if I'm smart or not. I just do this every day. And those are the ones that find success. Success can almost get boring. One of the biggest things we see agents say once they get to that level is it's boring. They do everything the same every day. I'm okay with my success being boring because it allows the rest of your life to be really exciting. And that's what those agents will tell you. That the business part's gotten a little drab. Cool, seventh level that thing out, go do your own thing. You can have a fully functioning real estate team that you don't touch. That was an eye opener for me. One of the conventions we went to, a guy said, I've taken 400 listings in the last 5 years and I haven't walked into a single one of them. And I remember telling myself that day, oh, I would never be that agent. How could you list a home, have my name on the sign, and I would never even walk? I'm going to personally know every one of my buyers and sellers. You know what? 15 years in, I'm okay if I don't know them all. And that members of my team handle that deal. It allows me to go out and do some of the other things I want to do. And that's what this guy does. He goes around the country now and teaches and trains, and that's what he's passionate about. But he still has a fully functioning seventh level, comes out of the MREA book. There's 7 levels to becoming a millionaire real estate agent. And the 7th level is where you've now made the decision, do I want to continue to be the CEO of my real estate team? Or do I basically want to hire out the CEO and give it up and go do something else? And that's what a lot of folks have chosen to do because they do the same thing every day. So they want to change it up. That's cool. Hire somebody else to do it for you. And so that's where you get those options. So what is Spark? That's what we're going through. Spark is going to be teaching us a lot about, so this is broken into Spark and Elements. The first 2 weeks, this week and next week, are the Sparks part. And the last 2 weeks are the Elements. The Sparks is going to be more mindset. More, what does it take in between my 2 ears to be a successful agent? This business is a ton about mindset. What is my lead generation efforts going to look like? And then the last 2 weeks, the Elements is really breaking it down in more the run the business side. How do you market? How do you sell? So basically, if we were to divide it in half, the left-hand side, this is what we're going to basically be focused on for the next 2 weeks. And this is what we're going to be focused on the last 2 weeks. So the first 2 weeks kind of really about the mindset, really about the lead generation. And then we tie it all together in the end with really teaching you the skills. But knowing all those skills, if we're not doing the stuff on the left, it doesn't matter because I don't have anybody to do it with. Remember driving on the toll road, heard an ad from an attorney, sounded like it was a guy about my age. And he was asking for clients and called his office if you have these needs. And I laughed and it made me realize he probably had the same thought I had when he went to law school. His 6 years of law school and my 6 years of real estate school, probably very equal. But I'm sure he thought he'd be like Tom Cruise up in the courthouse yelling, you can't handle the truth. Just like I thought I was going to be like the agents on Bravo, like calling and negotiating $1 million deals day one. I think both of he and I realized pretty quickly, I don't get to do that if I don't have clients. Turns out your law firm that hires you doesn't just hand you a book of 50 A+ clients. Turns out your real estate company, we don't just hand you a bunch of preset appointments. We do have a coaching program where we're providing leads. But I think I told you guys the stat on Friday, 2018, 200 million leads sold, 5.4 million transactions. Are we really handing you that good of a lead? We're handing you a name and a phone number. They've registered and said they're interested in a home. It's a warmer lead than just picking up a phone book, no doubt. But you got to go out there and you got to make the business. And so that's what Spark is. We're really going to concentrate on your database, knowing that for a lot of us, 80% of our business will come from our database. So you're a little bit of an introvert, but I bet you have some good friends, which is the kind of person that you may not have a million friends, but you got some really good friends, like close there. So it's making sure that those folks know your real estate. Some of them probably are extroverts. So what if we could turn them into your referral team? And so maybe you just need to impress upon the people that are really close to you how important this is and how passionate you are and how much you want your life to be better because of this career, and how they can best support you is by referring you business. And then let's turn the extroverts loose and let them go do it. That's what we talked about on Friday. Start to think about who are those wealth determinants. Who are those folks that are going to help generate business for me? This meeting right before I walked in here, we were doing a script practice and we were talking about Clients that sometimes have to break a lease, and the agent will say, well, will you help them? Kind of always, one of the thoughts that goes through my head is how I'm gonna help a client, especially if it's gonna be me giving up finances. Are they the kind of person that will never refer anybody? I have good friends who will tell you to, you ask them truthfully if they think I'm a great agent, they will say, absolutely. Best agent we've ever had. Same time, they will never refer me because they won't refer anyone for anything. You can't ask them, you all know them, the people that you can ask, like, where's the best place to go get barbecue? It's so much pressure for them. They're just, I don't know, I don't want to give you like a bad meal, I don't know, Google it. Whereas other friends, I will ask, where's the best place to get your barbecue? And oh my God, bro, you gotta go down to Hudson's downtown and it's amazing, the brisket. Those are the kind of people that give referrals. Some people just will never give referrals, and that is okay. I take great care of them, and I just know, hey, it's probably not gonna lead to a lot of additional business. Whereas I have other clients who I know are the type of people that have great influence either within their community, within their job, on social media, that will refer me business. And so when it comes time to do a cost calculation of, you know, I've got a client, they want to buy a home now, their lease doesn't end until July. It's going to cost a month and a half worth of rent to get them out of their apartment if they wanted to get out today. But you know what? These are the kind of people that will shout my name from the rooftops on social media. They'll tell everybody they know how awesome I am. I'm going to help them out. I'm going to be with their apartments, figure out how we get them out. I'll use a portion of my commission to pay to get them out because I know they're going to give it back to me tenfold, especially because I did that for them. Whereas other buyers that just, they're never going to help me out like that. And that's fine, but I really want to focus my efforts on figuring out who are those wealth determiners, who are the people, the 3, 4, 5 people that can make your career. They do an activity in Bold where they literally have you take one client and draw out. If the average client moves every 5 years, let's kind of get the math here. All right, so the average client, I pick up a 25-year-old first-time home buyer. And buys his first house, $300,000. That's me $9,000. The same time, he refers me 2 deals that also make me $9,000 over the next just 5 years. Then 5 years from now, he's 30, buys a $450,000 house. That's me $13,000. Same time, he's going to refer me 2 other people. They give me a $10,000 commission. But here's what's cool. These 2 people he referred me up here, they've each referred somebody to me. Just one. Now we're 40. We've got 2 kids. Homes have gotten pretty expensive. We're buying a $750,000 house while also referring out 2 people that generate me $15,000 commissions. Are you starting to see how one client can be so much more than one client? Does that make sense? That literally one client today can be your $1 million client. And I don't mean like $1 million in volume, I mean $1 million in commission. Because that one client just alone on their transactions, so at the age of, you know, in a 20-year span between now and 25 and to where they're 45 and my career goes 20 years, on average here in North Texas, they're gonna buy 4 houses. At an average commission over the course of the 4 of like 15,000, that client just in commissions alone is worth like 60. But if every year I can get 2 referrals from that one client, that becomes one of my $1 million clients. It's a client that I'm taking to a Cowboys game, that I'm treating to dinner. That becomes one of my A clients, the people I love on. And actually like will spend a little bit of money marketing towards my A clients because they can contribute not just their own deals, but the referrals. And that's where when figuring out who are those wealth determiners, the quicker you crack that code, and you're gonna come to 2 conclusions over the next 4 weeks. Either, all right, I've got a really good idea of who my 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wealth determiners are, or you're gonna be like I was at 25, and you're gonna go, crap. I don't have 4, 5, or 6 wealth determiners. What do you think that means? Does that mean I just quit? Do I go out and I go start to meet some people? And that's the thing. A lot of us are gonna come to the realization that, you know what? My database isn't, some of you have the database ready to rock and roll. You don't necessarily realize it yet because you just haven't started to like sit down and put pen to paper or put pen to computer and start to put your people in. I think a lot of you are going to be surprised when we start doing some activities to help you with your database, and you're going to realize, oh, I know a lot more people than I thought I did. However, some of you will come to the conclusion that, okay, I don't have it yet. Doesn't mean we won't get there. Doesn't mean we quit today. It means we just got to go out and put ourselves in situations to build that database. And that's the name of the game. We're going to talk about knowing your tools, what tools are available to you, what resources. Inside that Ignite folder, by the end of the day, I'm going to have your listing and buyer presentations put in there. So I've taken the presentation off of command. I've edited it so that it's not a personal one. In other words, anything that talks about you or you or you, I've taken those pages out. And so that this is you can print it and you can go today. So literally, if you have a buyer that you needed to meet with this afternoon, you've got your buyer presentation. It's on there. You've got a listing you need to go meet with, your listing presentation is done. Now we're going to get into, over the course of the marketing, on how to actually go in and customize it and create it and make it exactly what you want. But there is a really good looking generic one that you will have access to by the end of today. Those are the kind of tools. What tools do you have to prepare a CMA? What tools do you have to create marketing? What tools do you have to find homes? What tools do you have to provide information to clients? So that's your tools. Prepare for success, recap and ahas, and our daily success habits.
Hi, I'm Gary Kelly. This course will allow you to get off to a fast start you can build on. Because if you repeated the principles every 90 days for a year, believe me, you have an awesome first year. And just as important, you would have built the foundation and momentum for your entire career. It is practical, realistic, and easy to apply. It's about the fundamentals that determine your level of success in the business of real estate. From our research with top agents, we have found that they too started their careers with these fundamentals, and they continue to do them along with their teams to this very day. And it's not hard. It just requires a little focused effort, a few hours every day. Now, there is really just one way to achieve the goal. It's lead generation. Other skills are important, yet without leads to work with, your skills won't mean a thing. Dealing with business never takes precedence over what? Finding business. Never. Research shows that top producing agents make lead generation their number one priority and the one thing they make sure they always get done. You can do this. And when you do, you will get the leads, the relationships, the experiences, the career, and the income that you want and deserve. Go get them, and good luck.
So what do you guys hear out of that? Yeah, I mean, it really is. I know some of us try to recreate the wheel. Gary doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, that's how they did it back then. I'm going to do it differently. Video is like 25 years old. Hadn't changed. So he wrote that MREA too. MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, that came out in like 2000. It's considered by most, and this isn't the Keller Williams thing. You can go on any company's website, and if you ask for the top 5 real estate books, it's always going to be mentioned. Like it's, and I'll tell you, it's mentioned by people that don't like Keller Williams. We are not for everybody. People either seem to really love Keller Williams, or they seem to not like it. You'll come up with your own opinion over time. But almost to a person, they'll tell you that MREA is one of the best books you can read in real estate. It's not the most sexy read. There's not a love story going on throughout it. Not a lot of conflict in it. Not great character development. It's just really informative. That's why I like the audiobook version of it. Kind of more like listening to a podcast for me. But so about, oh gosh, now it's probably about 5 years ago, they had announced that we're going to write the MREA 2. That we're going to update it. And I still don't think they've actually published it. And every year Gary's like, people, you guys want to know what's in the AMR? It's the same damn thing. He goes, the reason we haven't published it, there's just not much new. Over 20 years, sure, some of the things have changed from more offline to more online. We've gone from not counting text messages as lead generation to counting them, to knowing that Facebook's an effective. But okay, so the methods have changed, but what it takes to be successful in this business is not, it's still lead generation on a daily basis, consistency. Yeah, I hope we teach you a lot of skills here, but if you literally walk away with just one thing, it's without leads, nothing else matters. That is your job. That whether you knew it when you came in and met with Sarah or met with Donna or whoever you met with, that you thought maybe you were getting into another job. No, that's it. Lead generation. Do that consistently. You'll be winning awards. You'll be on stage with Gary. It's kind of simple, but not easy. So here's the quote I was talking about. His version of without leads, nothing else matters. Nothing about your business will have as big an impact on it as the number of leads that you have. And that's it. When I say, do you want to give yourself a $300,000 raise? It's going out and just doubling those efforts. I remember we had a coaching moment on stage. He had this agent that wanted to double his business from $1 million in commissions to $2 million. And he was asking the coach on stage, Tony DeCello, who was one of the head MAPS coaches, he was asking him, you know, should I add internet lead generation on? Should I add another farm on? And he goes, well, where did you get the first $1 million in commission? He goes, well, my database. He goes, well, then why don't we just double the size of your database? In other words, go out and meet more people. Instead of focusing on like finding new methods, let's just take what you do and double it. Don't overthink it. You want to double the business, just double the results you're getting. And it's database for so many of us. It's that database becomes the lifeline. I know agents that have taken their database and sold it for 6 figures when they left this business. There's a book called The Golden Handoff that literally walks you through how to set yourself up to be able to do that and to be able to hand off that book of business and to set that other person up to find success from it. There are agents that literally, if your database is thriving enough, I'll pay you for it. That's the golden egg right there. Imagine having a database that was so successful that other agents were willing to buy. And now I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's worth buying someone's database. That's great that you can build one that somebody is willing to buy. I don't think I'd ever buy someone's data. I don't care how well you hand it off. Like nothing beats that relationship that they have with that person. You know, when my mom retires out of this business, do I think I will get some business from some of her past clients? Absolutely. But I don't have that relationship like she does. So to me, that book of business, I've got to have my own relationships. No point have I ever thought my plan of action was just wait for mom to retire and I'll just pick up her business. No, I've got to have my own thriving database. So, all right, we're going to take a 15-minute break here in 2 minutes. Give me some ahas. Ahas. What did you hear this morning? Like smart ass. We're so funny. What did you guys hear this morning?
Lead generation.
I've been pretty consistent with that message. Good.
What's your why?
And so start thinking about, like I said, I don't expect you to know the why. Some of you, the second I said, hey, what's your big why? You immediately went. Anybody, you know what, tell me what it is, but did anybody immediately kind of know? Whereas some of you are probably going, I've got an idea, but I'm not necessarily sure. That's something that I don't want you to figure out in a 15-minute exercise on a Monday morning at 9:30. It's something that should have, I go to these classes where they tell you to write your goals down. Like right then and there. And I'm like, well, either you knew them before you went in or I'm not going to figure it out in the next 30 seconds. Those are the sorts of things we want to put some thought and some effort behind. Anybody online want to unmute and give us an aha from the last hour?
Yeah, lead generation. I'm going to go with that as well.
Groovy. That is a pretty good answer there. So sweet. We are going to come back at 10:30, go make some phone calls. I just got to make 2 quick phone calls and I will see you guys back in here in 15 minutes.
Hopefully the coffee cups have been washed by now.
Yeah, it should be.
Probably mess somewhere. Cause I tried to turn the machine on and I added the pod to it, but I'm not sure if it actually started. According to my wife, there's a trick. I put it, well, I found those two.
We replaced lighting and now we're redoing our.
Yes, I try to let all the Oh, no, just, it's. Yeah, I've got mine. So I'm retired military, so that was one of the things I thought about before I took this route. Is I already knew that it would take a while to get started,
Yeah.
so
We're talking takes a
I
year.
don't think I could do it if I didn't have my retirement. So.
Yeah.
My wife works full time now.
Yeah, because now you're, free time, because if you had something else, it'd be hard to.
Exactly. It's.
Interesting to get into. That's-
And I'm like, I agree, I have to be here. I think I'm eventually, I already told myself, I'm gonna wait until I actually have my first transaction. And then I'm gonna go from the laptop to the tablet.
Yeah, because I heard everybody say it's easier to transition.
My realtor that I use to buy, or we built a house, I still use realtor.
Yeah.
And she went off the tablet, I watched how she did things. And this is great, but it's still, with my fingers, my hands, it's just too
Yeah,
small.
just,
So that.
All right, we'll go grab everybody else. Restock my water and we'll get rolling.
yeah, there's everything in the app, which is have apps for everything. And then just,
How you doing?
Yeah, we have for this computer laptop, I want to put the main apps. Well, it seems like definitely the only problem she had was when you're dealing with new construction, is there's there's not a Wi-Fi network built, because there's not enough houses to have it Harley. So she was at the intermediate reception.
Yeah, the green power.
That's what she did. She had her
Okay, that's
house.
what they're-
So because she was, we were on, in our area, there's not enough people that built houses yet. So other than that, I mean, she's just always had access to everything. You should be fine.
All right, let's get rocking and rolling.
Tomorrow. MLS.
What?
I've got an appointment for MLS training tomorrow. Is everything booked?
Oh, I couldn't.
Yeah, every time I call, it's like, sorry, it's this one's full.
All right, we'll get rocking and rolling online, people. Thank y'all for hanging in with us. So we talked this morning, lead generation, lead generation, lead generation. But a consistent part of our business has to be the grow your business part. You'll hear us talk about, when we talk about calendars, how with lead generation, you never remove from your calendar, you only replace. And so what that means is, let's say I had this morning from 9 to 11 scheduled to lead generate and an emergency happened. My kid got sick and we got to go to the doctor's office. That doesn't mean I don't lead generate. It means I didn't do it from 9 to 11, but I do not delete that off my calendar. I take that 2-hour spot and I'm moving it to my afternoon. Maybe I'm adding an hour on to Tuesday and Wednesday. But that's got to become one of those unmovable rocks. And we're going to really, when we talk about time blocking, we're going to talk about your big rocks and then the little pebbles. And they do this activity where they take a big jar and you have your big rocks and then a lot of sand. And your big rocks are those unmovable things. So I do this activity where we write on the left-hand side of a T-chart, unmovable objects in my personal life, and then the right-hand side, unmovable objects on professional life. That left-hand side, that could be date night with your significant other. It could be going to the gym. For me, it's like walking my dog. That's something that come hell or high water, it gets done. That's my exercise, my dog's exercise. So like even when it was snowing yesterday, we still go on our nice Sunday. That's our day we go on nice longer walks. So we went for like 2 hours. I just had to bundle up because that's something, no matter what, I don't let anybody get in the way of. What I notice is a lot of us can come up with that left-hand side of, here are the things on my life personally that I will never let interfere. Going to your kid's Little League game, that date night, going to church or another religious organization, going to the gym. The problem is that right-hand side, really in real estate, there's really one major unmovable object needs to be my lead generation. Problem is we protect the ones on the left-hand side, we protect the personal side, and we seem to willingly give up the right-hand side. I see agents who it almost seems like every day they look for an excuse to, oh my gosh, I can't lead generate today because of X, Y, or Z. And what they do is they just take it off their calendar. They don't replace it. And that's where we've got to have that replace it. If I don't do it today, then I move it to tomorrow. If I can't do it this morning, I do it this afternoon. If this afternoon doesn't work out, spread it out over the next 2 days. Maybe I come in on Saturday. But I got to keep that as a big rock. And so that's why when we build our calendar, we build the big rocks first. What I see is they take that jar and you've got your little activities like the sand, you know, going to the vet, dropping off my dog to get her shots, going to the grocery store this evening to get dinner. I need to run by Academy Sports and get some gear for my tennis league that starts up next week. All that stuff needs to get done, but would you call that a big rock? I wouldn't. That's stuff that can get done. But what we see is people take that sand, the little things, and they pour it in their jar first. They fill their calendar up with those little things, and then they try to put their big rocks on top, and you can't fit them. However, smart agent takes his big rocks, puts them in the jar first. In other words, builds my calendar with the unmovable objects. And then the sand, when you come in, you can pour it, it will fit around all those rocks. And so if I put my big rocks in first and then the sand, I can fit it all into the jar. If I put the little stuff in first and then try to shove the big rocks on top, run out of space. So build the calendar build your time blocking with those big rocks and know that everything else will fit in around it. And that was one of the cool things for me. I thought it was really cool when I figured out my big rock professionally is lead generation. If I do that every day, that's my job. But then I can be done. And to me, it's kind of cool having a job where really my job should be done most days by noon. I set my lead generation up to me in the morning. Now, if I'm doing my job lead generating every morning, what happens? Well, naturally, my afternoon gets filled up with appointments. So this afternoon, for example, my appointment, I'm going at 4 o'clock to go meet with another seller. Now, those are the pieces of sand that will fill in around it, but I protect that big rock. There's no reason I've got a deal, I've got to counter back to an agent off of an offer this weekend. It's 10:40, I still haven't countered back. I'm sure that agent would have loved to have heard back from me by now. I let her know last night that, hey, I'm teaching a class till noon. Probably not going to hear back from me before noon. That's okay. I was upfront, told them what time to expect a response. Nothing's going to happen this morning that's so tragic I need to stop teaching and go handle it. None of my deals fall apart at 10 o'clock in the morning. Typically, whatever is so pressing at 10 o'clock can be done in the afternoon. We get in this mindset that everything needs to be handled right away. I got to deal with this right away. I got to stop doing everything I need to do and deal with this one little fire. And I know this world that we live in with technology makes things so easy to do right away. However, I look back and this business was running just fine before email. Agents seemed to get the job done. Agents seemed to get the job done before there was the internet. So those things didn't happen immediately and yet business still got done. We built up this idea that I have to jump the second anybody says jump and not protect my own schedule. And that's where you've got to protect those big rocks. And so that's going to be a big part of the time blocking. But so we want to start with our sphere, our database. So your sphere, the people you have met in one way, shape, or the other. These are the people that already know you, already like you, already trust you. Your sphere of influence are the people you've already met. They know you, they like you, and they trust you and respect you. Therefore, they are likely to be willing to help you because after all, people like to do business with those they know, trust, and respect. You have established reciprocal communication with the people in your sphere. And that's the name of the game is who are those wealth determiners? Who are those people that today you have already earned the right to ask for business? And identifying those people and making sure they know. For me, it's authentic. I like to come to them. I don't mind almost begging my good friends. We have a little fun with it. You know, I'll go out to kickball and we'll go to the bar afterwards and I'll buy 3 pints of beer, put out 12 cups. I put 2 business cards in each cup and I'll announce to everybody, guys, first round's on me. However, the only way I get to come play kickball 2 nights a week is if I have real estate business going on. So I know you guys are going to make fun of me, but seriously, if any of y'all are thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, or more importantly, if you know somebody, I would love the opportunity to help them out. And sure enough, every one of my buddies on the kickball team, they'll kick me in between my legs, kind of make fun of me. It's okay, I take it like a champ because I know what's about to happen. Typically a week after I do that little buy your beer, give you my spiel, almost guaranteed I'm going to get one good lead out of it, sometimes more. I'll get the message, typically not from one of the guys on the team, but it seems to be like their girlfriend or wife that will text me. Say, hey, John came home, gave me your real estate card. We're actually thinking about getting our first house. Would you be able to help us? I can take a little bit of razzing from my buddies to pick up a nice $15,000 check. That's well worth it to me. So I keep it authentic. I have fun with it. Let your friends and the family, let them know, hey, the best way you can help me get started in this business is helping refer me business. You want to help? Refer me business. How can we help your business? By referring me business. Is making sure that that sphere understands that's how our business works. You are now a small business owner. Just like the mom and pop restaurant that can't afford to have an ad running on TV all day, they need word of mouth. They need people to come in, eat, try their chips and queso. You go on Facebook and say, oh yeah, best queso in the world. Word of mouth, referral business. Same thing for you is making sure that you're not a secret agent, that your friends and family know that not only am I here to help you, but I want to help your friends, your family, your coworkers, the people they go to church with. I want the opportunity to work with those folks. So would you prefer to do business with people you know and trust and respect, or would you prefer to do business with a complete stranger? Who in here would rather work with a complete stranger? There are circumstances, you know, if I'm going through a divorce, I may not want my best friend who's an attorney working with me on that. There's gonna be a lot of personal stuff going through that. You may have clients that are going through financial hardships. Sometimes when you do, you see your buddy that posts on Facebook, hey, I just sold my house, and you're like, what the heck, bro? You do a little bit of discovery and you come to realize maybe they didn't want to sell their house. Maybe they had missed a few payments and they were worried about getting foreclosed on. And don't take that personally. You know what? They didn't maybe want to share the lowlights of their life. That'll happen. That's okay. I'm going to keep moving forward. There are plenty of people that will get me business, so I don't get offended. Now, I get upset when I see somebody post on Facebook that they just sold their house, and I'm like, son of a bitch, why didn't they use me? Typically, I end up upset at myself in those situations. Because then I go, well, when was the last time I called Mike? It's been a year. Have I even told Mike that I was in real estate? No, I really haven't. So why am I upset at Mike? I'm not. I'm upset at myself. I remember my mom came home one day and she was pissed. 2 houses down, sale sign in the yard. She, how dare they list their home without me? When was the last time you talked to them, Mom? It's been like a year. Awesome. I didn't ask if they knew what she did. I asked a different way. I go, do you know what they do for a living? And I thought, she goes, no. I go, and I'm telling you, I don't know what you do for a living. But she was pissed, but I think she quickly redirected that anger to realizing she hadn't talked to the neighbors. She hadn't been going out and letting them know that she was there to help. And so ultimately it came down to really who should she be mad at? It should be herself. You should absolutely know your next door neighbors need to know you're in real estate. And so until I've told everybody, I can't really get mad at them for using somebody else. So according to NAR, 66% of sellers and 41% of buyers found their agent through a friend, neighbor, or relative, or used an agent they had worked with before. So who do you know right now that's going through a life change? Anybody in the last year had friends or family that have gone through a fairly significant life change? I feel like 2020 probably, if we think about it, there's probably not a person in here that can say no to that. I know right off the top of your head you may not. I promise you, somebody in your fairly close circle has had a fairly large change in 2020. Did they lose their job? Did they switch jobs? Did their job become totally different? Did they go from having to go to the office 5 days a week to now being told they get to work from home? You get to work from home? Beautiful. Where would you live if you could live anywhere? Do you have the space at home? A lot of people didn't need a home office, so we're never working out of there. Now all of a sudden I need a home office. Told you guys my story when we were not being able to go into the office is we had one office, but the girlfriend was already working from home. All of a sudden I'm also working from home. I had nowhere to go. I was working off the kitchen on the island some days. I was stuck in the backyard some days. I got dogs barking at the house. We didn't have enough space. Had we known going into it that we were going to be on lockdown this long, we might have looked for a home with a little bit more space. But so who's had a crazy life change? Those are the folks that need your help. But just as importantly, if you know that many people, think of how many people each person you know knows. You know, we had, I know Aaron, I think you're an HR manager, and it talked about how unfortunately you've had to make, sounded like, you know, not just 5 or 6 phone calls to people, but it sounded like quite a few people that no longer have a job. That's happening everywhere out there. So people's lives have absolutely changed over the last 12 months. Their circumstances have changed. Who could use your help? Sometimes, you know, right now it's letting those folks know. One of the big things, I might be reaching out to everybody in a note saying, hey, no, this isn't easy to talk about, but just wanted to make sure that if you guys are having any issues making your mortgage payments, let's get together. Something huge you could be doing right now. There's a lot of folks that are missing mortgage payments. A lot of folks that were given that forbearance that didn't necessarily read the fine print and realize that the second the forbearance is up, they're being asked to pay it all. I know a lot that's happening both in mortgage and rent. So you got some renters that were told you don't need to pay rent for the last 6 months. Then all of a sudden the landlord's calling saying you owe us 7 months of rent. Don't have it. Everything's happening in mortgage forbearance. Okay, great, you haven't made payments for the 6 months, now we need it all. They're like, crap, I don't have it. Well, before their home gets turned over to the bank, we need to help them out. Save them from going into foreclosure, save them from having to have a short sale. Get to them now, make sure your friends and family know, hey, if you are struggling to pay, if coming up with that month, let's sit down and talk. Let's see if there isn't a better plan rather than just putting our heads in the sand. That's what a lot of people, natural inclination is just to plug their ears up and go, it's not happening. And then 6 months from now, the bank's sending them a letter. Yes, ma'am.
What would be their options? Just refi or?
So refi, sell the house, get them out from under it. Maybe they're so far behind, they have started to miss payments. Is a short sale gonna be something we need to do? Maybe they bought the home just 12 months ago, and so they have no equity in the home. So what a short sale is, let's say I owe $200,000 on the home, because I bought it, put the minimum down payment, I built literally no equity in the home, and for whatever reason, I may not get that much when I sell. By the time I sell, even if I sell it today for $200,000, I have to pay commissions, closing costs, title costs, all of that. I'm not gonna net 200, which is what my payoff is. I'm only gonna net 180. Well, a short sale is where the bank is allowing that to happen. We're gonna allow you to sell your home for less than you owe us, and we're either gonna forgive that debt or waive it. And so a short sale may be an option. And so until we have that discussion, I don't know what all the options will be. But I know putting your head in the sand and going, no, it's not happening, that's not going to get a positive outcome. That is 6 months from now, we're getting a notice that our home's about to be sold on the court steps. And we do not want to see that happen for any of our friends and family. And so this is where we've got to be willing to have those conversations, get a little comfortable being uncomfortable. It's one of the harder things I deal with this is you get to know so much about some of your clients. I tend to let the lender handle a lot of the finances, but I still end up knowing a lot more than I probably even need to, and having to help people out through some seriously tough situations. And so it's making sure we're having those conversations, helping people understand that man, you're not the only one going through these struggles, but let's come up with a solution.
So we can help with the short sale and all stuff, with the refi, we have to charge you, I guess.
We could turn over to a lender, absolutely. Yep. And so for a lot of folks, and that's, sometimes my job is to help my clients with their real estate needs. Sometimes those needs are helping them find a refinance. Sometimes it's helping them find vendors to get their home repaired. Sometimes it's selling a home. So some of the things I do don't come with a paycheck. And that's what I signed up for, is I'm coming from a mindset of service and help and contributing to people's lives. And I know that sometimes I get a really nice commission and sometimes it doesn't lead to anything. But if I continue to do that, do you think somebody that you have that conversation with and you help them figure out they need to refinance and we get them a great rate, you think they're forever loyal? Yeah. Think you might be able to get a few referrals out of those folks? Yeah, if we play our cards right. And so, one of the things we do, like the second we have a hailstorm here in North Texas, I pick up the phone that morning and I'm on the phone with every one of my clients calling around, A, making sure they're okay. B, how did the house do? Do you need help getting somebody out there? Did you get beat up by the hail? Do we need a roofer? Let me get a roofer out there. Let me get a fence guy. Let me get you a professional. Why? Because otherwise they're going to have one of those roofers that comes down for 2 weeks out of Minnesota that's not insured, not licensed, not bonded here in Texas. Comes down, takes a lot of people's money, and then they just head back to Minnesota. Sometimes they put the roof on, sometimes they don't. I'm not really concerned. They're going back to Minnesota.
let me get a roofer over that I've worked with for the last 12 years of my career that's been licensed, bonded, and insured and done business in Texas for over 25 years. Let me get you a professional. There's nothing in that for me financially that day.
Yeah, because then you can refer them, and then the part of the insurance, whatever.
Exactly. But if you can become that connector with your database, that they know, hey, anything I need, I call so. Not only real estate, what if you build such a nice database and network that, hey, I just lost my job. But I know who I'm gonna call. I'm gonna call So, because she's always coming from service and contribution. Hey, So, this is Hunter. We haven't talked in a while. I just found out I'm losing my job. I know you've got an amazing network of people you work with. Do you know anybody that's hiring right now? Because you become that central spoke in your network. You know, I've always kind of felt like I've got so many different groups of friends. The one thing I like to think is I'm the spoke in the middle. That you may not know any of the guys I play softball with, but maybe you have a need to get some service done at your house that I have somebody on my other side of the wheel that does, and I can connect you to. And if you can become that person for your sphere, that keeps you central, then what do you think is going to happen when it is time to move? You're their first call, because you've always come from contribution. You've always come trying to help, coming from a service first mindset. And so that's my goal with my sphere, is to become that connector with the neighborhood you farm. That's my goal, to become that connector for the neighborhood. I'm going to be the guy every time somebody asks for something on nextdoor.com. He's a professional reference. Boom, gotcha. Hey, I work with a lot of really awesome vendors. I got a great painter. Let me get you his information. Hey, I've got an awesome guy who can get those windows installed for me. So that everybody in that neighborhood sphere starts to know, hey, someone's the connector. She knows everybody, man. She's always got somebody to be able to help me out. So when it's time for them to need your services, it's a no-brainer for they call. And that's really coming from that service-first mindset. So it's staying in touch with your sphere. You know, the average NAR, the average is, I think, like 7 years. They say 8 to 10 years. I'll tell you, in North Texas, I feel like that's cut in half. 4 to 5, and that's on the long end. I know a lot of folks that move every 2 to 3 years. And so but to me, it's not trying to figure out and timing when they're going to move, because stuff happens. So if we were going by this wave, okay, they bought a house, now we don't think, and now they're going to buy another house. Man, something can happen up here. Something can happen up here that causes it to change. So it's staying consistently in touch with folks. Give the story of, I helped a young couple out in outside of Tacoma when I was up in Washington about a year and a half ago, 2 years, a year and a half ago, buy their home about 40 minutes outside of Tacoma. And then I saw that they were online looking for homes back in October of this year, and I reached out. And they had had a medical issue with their youngest child. They were now having to go to the hospital 3 days a week in Tacoma. And they didn't want to have to drive 40 minutes. And if an emergency happened, they were 40 minutes away from that hospital for even the days they didn't know they were supposed to be there, but something emergency, they needed to be able to get there. So all of a sudden, even though they loved the house I helped them move into, you would ask them the day that we closed on that house that when they were moving, it was going to be a long time from now. They could literally have this huge panoramic window out the front of their house that literally looked straight on at Mount Rainier. Like, it was the most gorgeous view. Just every morning got to see that, and they loved it. Life happened. And all of a sudden, now they're having to make a move within the next 12 months. And so life happens. So it's staying, even though we can try to time it every 8 to 10 years or every 5 years they're going to move, stuff happens. One of the first things I was told was, anytime anyone gives you a timeline, cut it in half. So if Kevin told me we met at an open house and Kevin said, yeah, we're really looking to make a move, probably early summer, maybe even the fall. What most agents do is they write that down, contact Kevin, call him June 1st. Here's what happens is I call Kevin June 1st and, man, wish you'd call me about a month ago. My wife and I were driving. We ended up going by a new construction site, saw this house we really liked. I know we were going to wait till the end of the summer, but And we just loved the lot. We ended up jumping on it. We're actually closing in 5 days. Aren't you happy for us? You're like, oh my God, I'm so thrilled. But it's because I didn't stay in touch with him. And I kind of just assumed that he knew his time. Man, stuff happens quickly. And once they decide to make a move, it's who stayed in contact with them. Otherwise, in a weak moment, they're going to call a weak agent. That's why I door knock. She was talking about door knocking, like, so we door knock around each one of our open houses. Because I don't know if there's a scientific rule, but it sure seems like every time I see one sign in a neighborhood, typically within 2 to 3 weeks, I see 2 or 3 more. And so I know that some of those folks, they have an agent that has them in their database, but probably isn't calling them that often. So I show up at their door and invite them to the open house because I know what conversation happens. They looked outside their window when that first sold sign went or sale sign went up. They immediately went to their phone. We all got apps. Probably went to Zillow. Hopefully they went to my app. Maybe I didn't know them beforehand. And they pulled it up and I said, oh my God, the Johnsons are asking $700,000 for that house. Oh my God, if they get $700,000, we could probably get $850,000. Guess what? I want to be the first person at their door after they've had that conversation. Hey, Ray, Hunter, Keller Williams, just wanted to invite you to my open house this Saturday. I know you may have seen, we got the new listing over on Main Street. Going to be hosting it open from 1 to 3. Also, we're actually going to do a neighbors only open house preview from 12 to 1 o'clock. We'd love you to come by. If you know of anybody, any friends or family that have always wanted to live in the neighborhood, it's a chance for you to pick out your own neighbors. At the same time, while you're there on Saturday, we're going to be doing CMAs, or comparative market analysis. So if you and your wife would like to know what your home is worth in today's market, we'd be happy to do that for you. Well, he and his wife were just talking the other night, but if the Johnsons sell that thing for that, oh my God, what we could get. So they may have had an agent for the last 10 years that's been sending them a postcard or has them on an email campaign. But they don't really pick up the phone and call them that often. And I showed up at his door. Next thing I know, Ray and I are meeting. We decide we're going to list his house. Then his buddy sees on Facebook and was like, crap, I've been sending you postcards for the last 10 years. Yeah, but I showed up. Like I said, I've never talked anyone into selling their home. I have had fortuitous timing that I had the first conversation with them after they made that decision, though. And you only get that by having consistent conversations with people. So I not only want to take care of my database, I then go out and find people that maybe aren't getting taken care of by whoever's got them in their database. And in a weak moment, they hire a good agent. And it's me, because I showed up. And so it's that knowing that just because they give me a timeline doesn't always accurately reflect how that's going to work out. So never, I don't want to say they're liars, just life happens. They had no intention of moving. He had no intention of going into that new construction, but they saw the open house sign, they went in, and damn if they didn't love it. Well, if I had done my job, I would have called Kevin 2 weeks after 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, and been talking to him and saying, Kevin, hey, quickly, you guys ever thought about new construction? Well, no, not really. Well, I know you were telling me you wanted to move, towards the end of the summer, early fall. One of the options that we may have is new construction. They may have homes that are, not slated to be finished out till that timeline, so it might work perfectly for you. Did you know I could help you with new construction? Oh no, I thought you guys only did pre-sold. No, actually, typically when you go into the builder, you're going to be meeting with the builder's rep. They represent the builder and have their interest in mind. You need somebody to protect your interests, and we'd be more than happy to help you out. We can negotiate, get you a better deal, make sure that we're not leaving any money on the table and getting you a great home. I make sure my clients know I can help them in new construction. That way, on that Sunday, when he and his wife were driving and they saw him, they walked into that builder's office. One of the first things they said is, hey, by the way, we're working with an agent at Keller Williams. His name's Hunter Webb. We've got his card here that you can reach out to him. But we just were driving by and wanted to take a look at the home. A builder rep now knows that I am part of his representation. And so even though I wasn't there for the initial meeting, I still have an opportunity to represent Kevin. I've had clients literally, one of my brand new agents, she had that conversation with a client. They went out and they looked at homes. They were going to fly back to California. They left on a Sunday evening. I guess they forgot to call her. Monday morning, she got a call from a builder saying, hey, I need to send you over a copy of a contract. Her client's on the way to the airport and stopped by a home builder, handed them Jessica's card, spent an hour with the builder, and guess what? They went ahead and signed a contract. They told her Jessica's our agent, and put Jessica's name down. She'll get 3% of that deal. She wasn't even there for the initial contract. Now, I'd love the opportunity to help them negotiate that contract, but make sure your clients understand you can help them in new construction. New construction is my favorite. Typically, you go in, grab a cup of water, maybe a cookie, and I let the salesperson in the office do the selling. Typically, then they'll go make some copies of stuff, and that's when me and the clients get to confirm. But basically, at that point, who knows the house better, me or the guy who works for the builder? The builder's rep. So I kind of just shut up. Once we go under contract, then I go out every 2 weeks, take a video of what's going on in the yard. Where are we? Are we framing? Are we putting up a roof? And then I show up at closing day. New construction's awesome. Sometimes it comes with really nice bonuses. There are builders that do sliding scales. In other words, first house you sell for us is at 3%, second house is at 4%, third house and every other home after that is at 5%. Or if you sell 3 homes for us, you get to go on a cruise, or you get entered into a drawing for $10,000. New construction can have some really good incentives. One of my coolest Christmases, my mom sold a house when I was 15. It came with 3% commission and then an additional $15,000 in Galleria gold money. It's literally like a little baggie that had these gold coins that were each worth $500 in gift cards at the Galleria. So Christmas that year, my brother and I got like one little gold coin. Now I was 15, they didn't have any cool stores at the Galleria that I liked. But boy, if you could give 36-year-old me $500 to the Galleria, I'd be done in 10 minutes. That's one nice outfit. But new construction can be huge, but it's staying in touch with folks. Knowing that even though on the timeline, they shouldn't be moving for the next 3 to 4 years, stuff happens. Especially in 2020, a lot of people made changes that if you had asked us if you had asked me in January of 2020 if I'd be living in Texas, no way. You'd ask me in March, no way. And then the world changed. And we decided it was time to get back home. Getting locked down for about 60 days without being close to friends and family, realize you really miss those people. And I'd like to be closer to them. So our lives changed, and it changed quickly. And so if I had needed an agent, they probably, unless they were staying consistently in touch with me, by the time most agents, by how often we talk to our clients, I would have had an agent calling me, and I'm like, bro, I've been living in Texas for the last 5 months. Where you been? And so know that those timelines change. And so it's consistently staying in touch with your sphere, knowing that we don't know what's going to happen. So we talked about, I think on Friday, this 4 script. And so, we've got the daily 10-4 where we're going to be making 10 contacts a day, adding 10 people to our database, writing 10 handwritten notes, and previewing 10 homes a week. There's the 2 groups, I think. You have the group that you have already earned the right to ask for business. That's your best friends, your family, the people you've been doing business with. Then just as importantly is that second group who we want to earn that right. And so we just got to get back into relationship. And who can think off the top of their head of a friend that they would still call a friend who you haven't talked to in at least 2 years? Anybody ever feel guilty about it? I kind of do sometimes. I'm like, man, it's been 2 years. Then I think, you know what? Screw that. Ray hadn't called me either in 2 years. Well, one of us needs to be the bigger man. Because I really enjoyed our friendship. I thought it was pretty cool. I hope you did too. If we play this game of chicken, well, he didn't call me, I'm not calling him, then we're going to go another decade. So I need to get over it and go, you know what? I'm just going to reach out. One of the first things I may say, Ray, Hunter Webb, man, how you doing? Doing great. Dude, just want to apologize. It has been too long since I have called you, man, and that is on me. I am so sorry about that. When I moved back, I'll be honest, I didn't do the greatest job of staying in touch with some of my past clients. I was moving to the West Coast, wasn't coming back to Texas anytime soon. Then I came back to Texas and got back into real estate. I've had to make quite a few of those calls. Not one of them have been mad. They go, oh my God, man, we've been watching you on Facebook. Looks like you had an amazing time. Literally within about 5 seconds of getting on the phone with folks I had not talked to in the 3 years since I moved, it was just like old times. I just had to reestablish that connection. So the first call I made to those folks was not to ask them for business and tell them, hey, I moved back to Texas. By the way, who do you know looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? First call was just get back in the relationship. Maybe even the second and third call were to just cement that relationship so that now I've earned the right to get back to asking those folks for business. And so that's it. When I write my database out as a new agent, I either check mark that I have earned the right, and those are the people I ask for business, or a check mark on the right, which means I need to earn that right. And that's the goal. And the third option is if you've got a name that you put in your database and you will not call them, you don't want to call, take them out of your database. I see agents all the time that have these databases of 500 people, and yet when you go through it one-on-one with them, they're like, well, I'd never call that person. Why are they in your database? Just to depress you? I have a few of those names. I used to keep them in, and I would come to them and I'd see Ray. I'm like, I'm never going to call Ray. Couldn't stand him. But then I get upset because like, he's in my database. I need to call him, but I'm never going to. Just take him out. Now I need to find somebody to replace him with because I want to keep my database nice and full and have enough people in there to give me the kind of business I want. But for whatever reason, that wasn't the kind of person, and nothing personal. I'd call you anytime, man. But figuring out, if I'm not going to call them, get them the heck out of my database so I can replace them with somebody that I will call, that I do want to have a relationship with. Get the toxic people out, keep the good ones. And we talked about the little script, the family, occupation, recreation, dreams. You don't have to do all 4 of them. Maybe the call today is just about family. Just, man, how you guys holding up? Crazy year, holidays, a little bit different this year, weren't they? The kids, are they still at home? Are they going to school? You guys going nuts? You know, life has changed for the family, the occupation. A lot of people's jobs have changed. The recreation, what they're getting to do, vacations got cut. Who in here had a vacation plan for 2020 that didn't go on? I know you did. Yeah, well, you've been traveling the whole time, so. But you're ready to take a small break. So could I have a probably 10-minute conversation with you on the phone about your job? This year been a little bit different? Be something you'd be interested in talking about? Absolutely. You probably got some crazy stories to tell us. And that's it. It's getting on the phone and just having those conversations. It doesn't have to day one be about real estate. For some folks, I think you've earned that right though. Your brother, your sister, your significant other, your best friend, you absolutely have earned the right. And you've got to let them know I'm in real estate. And I want to not just help you, but your friends and your family. But the rest of them, it's just getting back into relationship so that you earn that right. I'm big on, feeling like I've earned the right to ask them for business. And so we're going to be calling our sphere. Obviously, with your sphere, you don't have to worry nearly as much about like the do not call list. That is something when you get into lead generation, you'll hear me talk about the do not call list every now and then. We do want to heed it and pay attention to it. Just the horror story. There are, from my understanding, a few lawyers here in the city of Dallas who have set up phone numbers that literally just sit in an office all day waiting for people to call them. The numbers are on the do not call list and they're going after people that call them. So when it comes to like calling cold leads that you don't know, keep that in mind. When you're calling your database, you don't have to worry about that. Hey, I'm not even soliciting. I'm calling to check up on them. There's literally nothing I'm in violation of there. That's one of the benefits to lead generating to my sphere. I don't have to worry about the do not call list. And so the sphere tends to be where a lot of us get that business. So how do you start calling your sphere? Who's afraid to call their sphere? Nobody?
I would say immediately, I would break out my sphere into sort of expanding orbs. So my central one, I'd be okay. The next one, depending on who's in it, possibly, but once I get out to the third one,
Could be a little tougher, no doubt. The good news is most of your business is going to come from that inner one.
We literally on our team, we used to always teach it this way, is to have your sphere in 3 groups, A, B's, and C's. A's are your top 20. It can be top 20%, but really for us, it was the top 20 people. We would do an activity where we had a big calendar, and so I would have 20 names that were my top 20, and every Sunday, 2 names would be written. So it would be Kevin and So this week, it would be Mike and Ray next week. What that meant when I saw your 2 names on Sunday was I had to get together one-on-one with each of you. And not just on the phone. You and I are gonna go grab a beer and watch playoff game on Saturday, and I know you and I are heading to the dog park to hang out with our dogs. Next week, I see on Sunday night Mike and Ray, so I know I need to reach out this week and set up something to do with Mike, set up something to do. So we would actually make sure we saw our A's, and obviously a little tougher in a pandemic. But and what we would do is every 10 weeks, that would be all 20 names, then we would just roll it back over. Now I'm back to week 11, we're back to Kevin and So. Week 12, Mike and Ray. What does that mean? That over the course of the year, I'm gonna see you a minimum of 5 times. That's better than once a quarter. And then my B's was the quarterly phone call. My C's, I still wanted to make the quarterly phone call, but they were the ones that I didn't spend as much time, money, or effort on. My A's, maybe around Christmas time, I'm gonna buy pies. You'll see a lot of agents do the pies. And I'm gonna deliver a pie to you. My team, we did like barbecue sauce one year. We'll try to find something like Texas, some sort of really cool little small business. So a couple years in a row, we've gotten to the folks that created Bentley's barbecue sauce. We'll drop off that and maybe some homemade seasonings for barbecue. Stuff that I'm interested in, just a little thank you to those top 20% people. They're the people that maybe we put a small event together. Seen agents, you can rent out the movie theater, maybe you put a small picnic together, maybe you buy a section of tickets to a Rangers game. That's for my A clients. Maybe though in the summer, we're gonna do like a little pop by for the 4th of July. We're gonna go out and buy a bunch of sparklers. Maybe that's my A's and my B's. So my A's will get the nice like $5 plus gift over Christmas. But maybe for the 50-cent pack of sparklers, I do my top 20 and all my B's. That second level group. And I put a cute little note that says my business sparkles with your referrals. And I go drop that off at each one of their doorsteps. My C's, I'm typically not spending any money on. They're on an automatic campaign and they're getting a quarterly phone call. Now, can you get moved up from groups? Absolutely. My goal is to take all those people from B's. I'd love to get them into my A group. First clients you have, they automatically become your A group. That's your first pass client. That's the thing. I see agents, right now for a lot of you, it's going to be about going out and finding new business. What kills me is when I see agents that do a really good job of that and then they never follow up with them. And they're always constantly having to go get new business. Let's hope by year 3 or 4, we've built enough past clients that instead of consistently always having to go find new people, then we've now got so many people that we just if we'll love on the people we already have, we got more than enough. I'd rather just love on the people I'm already in relationship with than going out and continuously having to find new relationships. So that's what we've got to figure out right now at Ignite. Do you have enough people that we really just need to strengthen all those relationships, or do we need to find some new people? That's where things like internet leads. Maybe I don't have the database I need, so internet leads is a great source. Maybe I don't have enough, so going out and doing open houses is a great way to go add some people to my database. Maybe I need to go join networking groups. Maybe it's you want to go like my style and go play sports. Maybe you have other passions, volunteer work. Man, don't have enough people? Volunteering. A, the very least, you gave back. B, there's a good chance you met some other really nice, like-minded people. I'm a big dog guy. Love volunteering at Operation Kindness. Always meet really cool people there. And then I immediately connect with them on Facebook. Over time, build that relationship and strengthen it. Do you think I ask them day one when I meet them at Operation Kindness if they've got any business to send me? Just not. Think within 6 months we get around to that? Absolutely. You think those people like referring me business because they know what kind of person I am because we met through giving back? You betcha. I do it just because I like dogs, but ultimately it can be a really good business move. Yes, sir.
So when you connect with them, are you connecting with them as your personal account on Facebook, or do you have like a company?
I've got a business page. I don't care about it. The only reason I have a business page is so that I can run my ads on Facebook through my business page. I am big on the personal page of Facebook. Means I have to keep it pretty PG-13. Try not to get too hot. I made like a post on Tuesday and I kept it up for or Wednesday, whatever day everything went crazy in DC. And I within 5 minutes took it down. Like, it just isn't, that's not, nope, not a good idea. Like the first 5 people were on like what I would call my side, and then it just quickly, and next thing I got multiple friends calling each other fastest assholes, and I'm like, okay, thought we were having a mature discussion, we were not. So I try to keep it a little PC on there. I've sent requests to like other professionals and had them not respond to that one, but then send me a link to their business page. Oh, that's the quickest way for me never to work with you. Because I just assume the worst, that just everything in your personal life is a train wreck, and so you don't want me to see it. So I use the personal page. I find that that's where most of my online leads come from, the personal side. And people on there, they became your friend for typically other reasons other than real estate. Now, as a new agent, we're going to teach a lot of social media. But as a new agent, you can get away with on your personal page having a little bit more real estate related stuff. You as a brand new agent, if you post a picture of your business card, you'll probably get 100 likes. It's new, it's exciting. If you do an open house for the first time and you share that, all your friends are going to comment on there. I posted a picture of my business card, like my mom and 2 of you would like it. Like at this point, most of my friends get out in real estate. I go with about a 1 to 5 post ratio. In other words, 1 out of every 5 posts will be a real estate related post. But most of them are still on my personal life, and you'll get to that point after about 6 months. But right now it's new. Your friends and family are excited. It's new for you. That's fun for them to see. So you can be a little bit more real estate related. But yeah, anybody I meet, I want to add on Facebook. Those B connections are the ones that I really get a lot out of Facebook for. The going to a wedding and you sit at a table with 3 other couples, and I add those 3 couples, and basically that's how I communicate to them, is through Facebook. It's liking their posts, commenting on them. And then 2 years after that wedding, I get a direct message from one of them saying, hey, you may not remember, we met at Colleen and Brock's wedding up in Kansas City back in 2018. I know you had said you were in real estate. We've been watching your Facebook. Looks like you do an awesome job. We're thinking about selling our house and moving into a condo in Dallas. Would you be willing to help us? I think I could find some time. That's the ideal goal. Those B connections become huge on Facebook. So if I went to Operation Kindness and I met 4 people, I'm going to try to find them all on Facebook and add them. And so that they become a part of my circle. But so, yeah, it's just reconnecting with a lot of folks.
Hunter,
Yes, sir.
those 4 pieces that were up there under 4,
Mm-hmm.
is there one that stands out more than others as a starting position?
The top 3, the one I struggle with is D, dreams, is a little tough. You've got to know them on a pretty personal level. I'd say family is also, you're getting a little on the personal side. So if it was easiest, probably O&R. Recreation, I can always call and figure out how do we know each other and kind of use that as did we meet at Operation Kindness? Great. Did you get to do any charity work in 2020? I know they weren't allowing volunteers. That kind of sucked. Have you been able to help in other ways? Did I meet you through a sports league? So we can talk about, are you still playing sports? If I met you through a past job, we can talk about occupation. So I kind of the easiest one's going to be where you tied in with them. Did you meet them through like church and you have family friends together and talking and you know their wife and you know their kids? Then it would be natural to bring that up. If I had never met your wife and kids and we only played kickball together, and I'm like, so how are the babies? Good. I didn't even know you knew we had kids. It would make more sense for me with a kickball friend to talk about recreation first. Would make more sense somebody I met through church in a Sunday school class, maybe family a little bit more. Somebody through a past job occupation might be easiest. Like I said, the dreams tends to be the toughest one. Now you can use the dreams. Man, you guys got any big goals for 2021? Are you hoping to take any vacations? What's the first thing you're gonna do when we finally don't have to wear masks everywhere? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go out and I'm just gonna hug people everywhere I go. That's a dream of mine, like, you know, what are you guys, like, what is everybody gonna do when we don't have to wear masks? It's gonna be weird, like, I feel like the whole country, we just shut down for a week and we take all the crappy holidays we had in 2020 and we do them all. So we'll start off with Memorial Day on Monday, Tuesday will be the 4th of July, Labor Day is gonna be the Wednesday, Halloween we'll do on a Thursday, Friday's Thanksgiving, and Saturday and Sunday, we're doing Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, the whole shebang. We're gonna do it, we're gonna hug, we're gonna love each other, it's gonna be awesome. Holiday week in America.
That's a great idea.
Isn't it? So I think we as a country, yeah. We just,
I get my birthday redo. Like,
exactly, my Zoom birthday party, which at first in April when I did it, seemed very fun and cute and novel. Didn't know we'd still be having Zoom birthday parties a year from now, so really hoping not to do another Zoom birthday this April, but starting to think we might. But so it is. It's connecting where you are most comfortable. There's not always an every time answer. It'll depend on that person. And so kind of tie in where you met them from to maybe what's most comfortable to talk about. Like I said, don't feel like you have to run through all four. Pick one and that's the basis of the conversation. You know, right now I'm gonna post some scripts on the Ignite Drive. I'll have some scripts on New Year's check-in that a couple of agents I saw last night when I was looking for scripts that have on just kind of checking in. Somebody sold a house on just checking in with people. How you hanging in there? You know, it's been a long year. How's life treating you? Sometimes it's just, man, we don't even ever get to business. That's okay. Those conversations, you'll be amazed some of the people you talk to. Some people are short. Other people I get on the phone that I didn't expect to have a long conversation with, and I learn their whole life story. I found that doing internet leads, calling completely random strangers, and I can tell you the whole life story after the first phone call. It's amazing. And so you'll find different people will let that conversation go in different directions. Know the tools. So, kind of talked about some of the tools you have at Keller Williams. So you have access to Keller Mortgage, Keller Coverage. So Keller Mortgage is a mortgage company. Gary Keller, about 4 years ago, went out and just bought a mortgage company. They don't charge any lending fees. They give you $1,000 back at the time of closing. It was bought not to make a profit. Gary understood that the consumer wants a rebate of some sort. So instead of me giving 1% back, what if I were able to save you $7,500 on your loan? Buyer says we'd like 1% of your commission on a $400,000 house, that's $4,000. Well, what's most important to you? I've never met a person that I've worked with who what was most important to them was taking my money. Now, what may be most important to them is they get some sort of rebate back. They don't give a darn where it comes from. I don't personally want to take it out of my pocket. So instead of me offering up 1%, you know, Ray, why don't we go talk to the folks at Keller Mortgage? They actually will waive all lending costs and give you $1,000 back at closing costs on the price of your home. That's probably going to be about a $6,000 savings. Would that be of benefit to you? Hopefully it works out pretty well. Keller Covered is the insurance. Keller Offers is it's an iBuyer program. In other words, I can tell my sellers, potential sellers, I can get you a cash offer within 48 hours. Never even going on the market. So an iBuyer program is basically Keller Williams takes their money, they buy the house, and then they turn around and list it. Guess who they're going to list it with? Yeah. So Keller Offers is brand new. Keller Manage, I'm not even sure what that is. It's in the works. Then you have your KW app. Who has the KW app downloaded? So if you don't, you will go to your app store. My app store. I'm on the iPhone.
I searched Keller Williams. It is the first non-sponsored one. It's a white button with red KW. You will want to download that. The second one underneath it is called Kelly. It is a blue button with a white KW on it. You will want both of those. So the white button with the red lettering, that is the consumer-facing app. The blue with the white KW, that is more your app in terms of back-end stuff.
And then KW Central also.
Also has an app. Well, I like the KW app, so I'm loading it up. Gives me the little white screen. It allows them to search for homes. But if you hit this more button, you can see they can get right into Keller Covered. They can get Keller Mortgage. So I have my clients literally right there with me. Pull up the app. They hit Keller Mortgage. It will walk them through the pre-approval. So it literally says, I want to buy a home or I want to refinance. They say, I want to buy a home. What type of home is it? Single family, multifamily, condo, townhome? Single family. What will this property be used for? Primary, secondary, seasonal, investment? It's my primary. Do you have a property in mind? No, I don't have an address. How soon? 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6, 6 months? Not sure. I'm gonna say 0 to 3. How much are we thinking we're gonna spend? We'll put 500,000. Then I enter in this information, my name, my email, and a phone, boom, and it'll send it off right then and there. And then about 15 minutes, they can get pre-approved through Keller Mortgage. Huge tool. Yes, sir.
What was the name of the app again?
Keller Williams.
You have to spell it all out.
Yeah, when I searched for it, I did, and it was the first non-sponsored link. So right when we get done, those of you who are looking for it, one of the things you will also do is you need to make yourself your agent. So those of you who just downloaded it after class, get with me, and if you have not made yourself the agent, I'm gonna walk through with everybody after class and we'll get you set up so that you are the agent. So when you share the app, it is already branded to you. That way, if you send it to a client, I send it to Kevin, he's got my branded app, he clicks on a home, says, I'd like to, you can schedule a showing right from the app. It'll automatically go right to me. Or maybe he decides to go through Keller Mortgage to get pre-approved. He doesn't call me, he just goes through the app and does it. That's cool. Keller Mortgage is gonna see that he's tied in with me and they're gonna send me a quick email saying, hey, your contact Kevin Lewis just got pre-approved for it. You need to reach out. I can then see if he's looking at homes on the app, I'll be able to see on my command database what homes he's looked at. So I can reach out and say, hey, Kevin, I saw you looked at that home off of Main Street. Looks like a couple times. I'm gonna be out in that neck of the woods this afternoon. You wanna meet me out there, just take a quick preview of it? Seen you saw it 3 times online, including at like 2 a.m. It must be pretty hot in his mind. Let's get him out there. But so the app is a huge tool that ties in with your database on command. And then the Virtual Market Center with their command version is how I can get paid. So it all can be online. Kelly is kind of your back end. So the white app that we just downloaded, that's for the consumer. The blue app with the white letters, that's going to allow you back end access. So I can pull up my whole database through Kelly. I can see, it will tell me who I need to contact today. I can get messages on there. I can see my profit share on there. I can ask Kelly for a snapshot of a neighborhood. Kind of a fun party trick. Let me sign in. Let's see, sign in. I'm not gonna figure my password out. But Kelly is your back end. But the big tool is the command tool. That's where all of this runs through. So we talked about last class command. We're gonna go in and just kind of look at it one more time. So we talked about this on Friday. So we've got on the left-hand side all the tools of command. So the big one is contacts. That's our database. So I can find all my peoples. I can see when I last contacted, what tags, what stage in the opportunities, if they're going through a transaction. Do I have their phone numbers? Do I have their emails? I can add an individual contact just by simply clicking add contact. I can import a large group. I can export them all if I needed to. Maybe I need mailing labels. So maybe I've got my whole farm. To give you an idea how we do it, we've got on our team database, I've got all my farm loaded. It's one of the benefits of coaching is you get access to, you need lists of addresses and names and phone numbers of people in your neighborhood. We can get you that. And so I uploaded all that through command. Then I went into the design section.
Do you have to pay for that?
That information,
Yeah.
the office does. So it's part of the coaching. One of the benefits, we get access. We only have one account. So you send me, you say, hey, we're wanting to farm Forest Creek North, and I'll probably call you and kind of make sure I got the right area, and then we'll just send that to you. So we send it over as a CSV file so that you can upload it right into your command. So I've got everybody uploaded. Then I come over to my designs over here. And once the spinning wheel of death gets out of the way, I can come in, I can create an email, a landing page, social, print. So let's say I want to create something for my farm. As I hit print, or I just hit this plus right here that says add new design. I want to create a print. And it will pop up all the options of pre-made printing pieces. So I've got all these different postcards already created. So lead generation, maybe I want to send out a home value. What's your home worth? A letter about curious about selling. A door knocker, a second postcard, find out what your home is worth. So maybe I want to send that out to my farm. So I create it here in design. Then I can attach it right with my database and send it right out through the command system.
Can you change the pictures on those?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if we clicked into it, it's all editable. We'll do an actual class on the designs. But so I can come in, create my design, attach it to whichever group in my database I want, and have it sent out through there. Pretty cool. But I mean, look at all the different stuff just on printing materials. You got stuff on your app. You got stuff for listings, your listing presentation. So if you're wanting to get a head start, these are all the same material, just different designs, different fonts, different colors. I've got for sale. So if you got a listing, you can make door hangers, flyers, standard postcards, bifolds, trifolds, bifolds. I got buyer stuff, lead generation, business basics, leadership stuff, luxury. So you got all this stuff already made up in designs. So you've got your contacts, your tasks. So for each contact, you can add a task. That way, when you're back at the home page, all of the tasks will show up here. So if you get in the habit of just setting a task for each one of your clients every time you talk to them, then you just create the habit of every morning going on here and boom. You can also get your tasks off the Kelly app. So that's where those two talk to each other. Smart Plans is the automatic marketing that's set up. So you come over here to Library, and you can see the plans that we've got set up. And like I said, there's a bunch of ones that have been created by agents. So you can see this is new to Keller Williams, a simple 3-step system letting your entire database know that you have embarked on your new real estate career with Keller Williams. It's currently being used by 2,100 agents, 72 5-star reviews. It runs for 10 days and it has 6 steps. I hit view steps. So it sends an automated manual email. I'm excited to share news with you and everybody that I've now shifted my career into a full-time real estate sales professional at Keller Williams. Delays, then it sends them a text message. Now you can choose, there's 2 ways with the text messages on command. There's a company called Twilio that you would sign up and set up an account for that will automatically send these text messages out when you're on a campaign like this. Or you're like me, especially year 1, my favorite price was free $99. And so you just manually send these texts. But it will set up a task and tell me in 3 days, you need to text these people. Then it delays 6 days. Then it tells us we need to get on the phone. It gives us the script.
Again, this lets you customize it as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yep. So those are your smart plans. Like I said, we're going to dive into this stuff more. Clark's going to do a lot. Clark does a lot of like hour-long classes on this. Highly recommend taking advantage when he's teaching. Those of you that want to get ahead, so maybe you started to see some of the stuff that Command can do, and you're like, I really want to jump ahead and start playing with it. I'll post a link in the Facebook page. Those quick message. I've tried to add most of you. I sent out a friend request on Facebook. Some of you have a name and I couldn't tell by the picture. And there were like 18 people with your name. So I didn't want to ask 18 people. So if I am not friends with you on Facebook, add me so I can get that Facebook group up and running. I have to be friends with you to add you. But so you come in and type in 66-day challenge 4.0. It'll be the first link down and I'll post this link. But so a gentleman named Marty Miller.
How they actually make money. And I want to show it to you.
I'm gonna skip this ad.
Actually use it to make money off their efforts.
Has created
Good morning, Keller Williams, and welcome.
66 5 to 15-minute videos that walk you all the way through the command system. So from literally like setting it up all the way to like running successful paid advertisements out of the program. So like I said, Clark's going to teach some of it. We'll touch a lot of it in Ignite. However, those of you who like to get ahead, this is a great way. Just set up one video a day. In the next 2 months, you'll have mastered command. Reason why you're going to see that 66-day challenge is a big thing in Keller Williams. So they've done psychology studies that show a habit on average takes 66 days to form. Now, obviously, I feel like my bad habits only take like a week to form and the good ones take a lot longer, and that's how they average out to 66 days. But if you consistently get in the habit of using command over the next 66 days, within 2 months, it's going to become second nature to you. You're just going to automatically wake up every morning, log into command, look at your tasks, go boom, I got the 10 people I need to call today, rock and roll, ready to go. I need to set up and build a postcard to send out to my farm. Awesome. I know how to do it. I want to run an ad through Facebook. I know how to do it. I'm ready to write an offer and send it in for signatures. Boom, all through the command system. So it really is nice to have a one-stop shop to be able to get all this done. So literally you can create the marketing that goes out and attracts somebody that becomes a lead in your system and then can use your tools to search for homes. Then you can immediately move them into the transaction, can send them the contracts for signatures. Then you move the contract into the market center and you can get paid all on that one website. So
Obviously, though, that means there's a lot inside that website to learn. If I try to teach it all to you, it'd be like drinking from a fire hose. Best way is probably broken down by 66 days as little small chunks at a time. Little 5-minute videos to get you up and running. You got smart plans, the referrals. It's where you've got your referral network so you can grow yours. Like I said, you can search it by map. Maybe I got a buddy moving out to Lubbock. So I'm getting agents that are popping up so I can look by area. I can set filters. Maybe I want to give a young agent a chance. So KWYP is Keller Williams Young Professionals. Maybe I got a client looking to buy some land out there. And I also want somebody that's at least done 5 deals. I hit apply filter. I don't have anybody that specializes in land that's done 5 deals according to this.
Looks like there's an opportunity there.
Exactly. That's jumping on it. But yeah, so you can find agents all across the country this way. Then you will create, you can add folks to your network. And then you have a referral network. So I know if I've got a client moving to Honolulu, Adrian and I have had a previous relationship, professional relationship. Be careful there. But so you'll notice a lot of mine are like in Portland, Oregon, where I lived. I got a lot throughout the country. So these are people I've probably met at family reunion, mega camp, mastermind, some KW event. And I will add them to my network. Opportunities, this is gonna be where you do your transactions. What I love about this is it will show you kind of where you're at and what your potential is. So right now, my buyer pipeline, I've got potential income of 400 or 45,000, probable income of 32. So what it's doing is it's showing, I've got somebody all the way just in the appointment stage. It knows my conversion rates to know how likely I am to close all these deals. It starts off with the national average, and over time, it's smart technology. It's got some built-in back-end artificial intelligence. It will start to learn your business. So that's nice to be able to kind of look at and see. And it will show you kind of your activity so you can really start to track your business. Campaigns is where you set up and run social media posts where you can run ads. So obviously we're going to do a huge class on these with Clark, but you just hit create a new campaign. I want to run a social ad. I want to attract listings, and I want to run it on Facebook.
So do you get, when you do a Facebook post that way, do you get a fee for that, or is that?
Yep, so there is, so you can do it for free, or you can set up a budget. So you can just create all your posts this way and schedule out your post. That's one of the nice things. This allows you to schedule it, but it will give you, all right, here's what we think maybe you should put for your main copy. Thinking of selling, not sure if now is the right time. Suggested for the headline, a suggested description. You can add media, and then down here, it will show you your duration and budget. So I'm gonna run this for 10 days at $30 or $3 a day. On average, it's about $2 per lead. So if I ran that for $30, I would hope to get anywhere from 10 to 15 leads out of that. And so we're happy to help you get that set up. They give you some nice suggestions. Over on the right-hand side, as I made changes, it would actually show me what that ad will look like. I can see what it will look like on Facebook.
on the web or on the mobile. If I had set up Instagram, it would have done the same thing. So it makes it nice and easy. So even if you're, man, I'm not the techiest tech guy, I'm not so sure about this, this is what we made it for. We made it so that you don't have to be a 22-year-old whiz kid to know how to use this stuff. Josh Team, the president of Keller Williams, and Gary will tell you the goal of Command was to create almost every one of these activities. We need you to be able to do it in 5 minutes or less. Now, the first time you do it, are you going to be able to do it in 5 minutes? No. First time you do it is going to take a minute. But the goal is that once you've learned the system, then you can come in and within 5 minutes create yourself a Facebook ad. Within 5 minutes, create a postcard. Within 5 minutes, have a smart plan up and running. Within 5 minutes, access all your offers. And so it's to help save time, not to replace anything, but to help save your time. Why? So that you can spend more time lead generating. Because do I get paid to design ads? I get paid for the leads that they create. Do I get paid to write up offers? Now I get paid for the leads that I go out and create. So the less time I'm spending doing that stuff, the more time I'm able to go out and get new business. That's why we see, typically when an agent grows their business, one of the first hires they make isn't another agent, but it's the admin. Because what if instead of me having to do all the paperwork for all my transactions, I hired somebody to handle that part of it? What would that allow me to do? It gives me two options. I can either spend more time with my family and friends, or I can spend more time lead generating. So it gives you that freedom and flexibility.
An admin is different than a transaction coordinator.
So a transaction coordinator works with typically multiple agents, and admin is going to be specific for you. Sometimes you'll see agents that will split an admin. Maybe you and I team up. You get her Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I get her Tuesday and Thursday. Or you get her from 9 to noon every day. We give her a 1 hour lunch break or him a 1 hour lunch break. And then they work on my business from 1 o'clock till 5 p.m. Whatever the case may be. Or maybe you just hire an admin for yourself 3 days a week or every morning until we get enough business to where you bring them on full time. The admin can handle my transaction coordination, can help set up my marketing for me. Hey, I need to run a command ad. I don't get paid to do that. Let's pay somebody who knows what they're doing a lot better. They can do it for a little less an hour than what I charge. What I charge per hour, if you look at my commission rate, I think I deserve a lot. So then I have to decide, is this really what I should be spending my time on? Not something we see new agents, man, especially as a new agent where money's tight, is focus on those dollar productive activities. Is there a dollar bill at the end of this rainbow? If there is, probably where I should be spending my time. Designing the prettiest website, is it the most important thing to do day one? Probably not. Is it over time? Would you like a really good looking website? Absolutely. Well, I'd rather you go out and go meet 2 or 3 buyers. Let's close a few deals and then you decide, do you want to build out the fancy website? Or you know what, there's companies that can do it a lot quicker, that all I got to do is write a check. And not that I say throw money at everything, but you know what? Sometimes it's time or money. I'm going to use my money because I want to buy back my own time. Time is expensive. And the more you get into production, the more expensive your time gets. And you start to go, man, I probably don't need to be doing this. And so it's looking for leverage. So that's a way to leverage your business. Up here on the right, it gives you a guided tour. So if you're wanting to kind of just get a walk through the system, it'll give it to you. You've got reports. So you're able to see your database health score. So it's showing me what percentage of my database has a phone number, which has an email, which has a physical address, which ones are assigned to a neighborhood campaign. I don't have anyone with their home anniversaries. No, not many with their birthdays. Obviously, I don't lead generate out of this database. This is more for training, but I haven't reached out in the last 30 days. I haven't reached out in the last 60. I've only talked to 2.7 people in the last 90 days. The last 91 plus days, I've talked to 97.3 of them. You can compare it to agents in my market center, agents in state, all agents in production bracket above mine. Why would I want to compare it to the people above me? Well, I want to see, if I want to get to that next level, what do they look like? All right, my health score is a little higher than theirs. Cool.
So every time you talk to somebody, you would have to log in.
Mm-hmm. If you're using this system, it makes it nice and easy. So when I pull it up, I talk to Betty Buyer. I can come over to notes, add new note. It's saved, and now I've got notes that will create that. So if I do a consistent job of creating notes, I can go back and see and follow the conversation. And keeping good notes when you talk to those contacts so that you can pick right back up in the conversation can be crucial. I can go into task and I can create a task that will show up on my dashboard. I can see, is Betty Buyer on any smart plans? No, so I can click add to smart plan and put them on a smart plan. I can set up a saved search for them. Just hit create new search and it will set up that search. But so it will track every time I touch that contact that way. It will give me my timeline so that you can see where they've been on here. So you've got designs, your listings is where you input your listings. And then consumer is what we're going to get into to make your website. So that's the rundown of Command. I know we did that last time, but it's going to be a big player, so we want to kind of keep going over it. So we got a few minutes left. Talked about the tools, so we really went into your database. Obviously, we want to start putting the people in our sphere into our database. Powerful database produces leads. A powerful database managed by powerful scheduling and planning tools produces a predictable flow of leads and a predictable flow of business. Command is a tool to nurture and manage relationships, to schedule and track every interaction you have with each person in your database so that you can maintain mind share as the top of mind real estate agent of choice. It's to help me automate lots of my business so that I can spend my time going out meeting with buyers and sellers. Know on the back end, I've got campaigns automatically set up and running. I'm hopefully doing my job and making the minimum quarterly phone call, but at the same time, I don't have to worry about those emails going out. I don't have to worry about the text. It's automatically being done. I know when to call people next time because I've set a reminder in the task. Your Ignite toolkit, I've loaded that onto the Google Drive. So inside of there, you've got script books, buyer lead sheet, a 411 we'll go over tomorrow, which is a goal setting tool. You've got your plan your day checklist, previewing homes job aid, so basically kind of a guide to help you preview homes. Pre-listing questionnaire for when you meet with a potential seller. Pre-listing packet for when I meet with a potential seller, and some open house tools. All those can be found either through the education link on MyKW or in your Google Drive. So what the next 2 weeks are going to look like is today is all about fuel your career. Tomorrow we're going to really dive into lead generation. Wednesday we're going to talk about powerful language, gets results, scripts, dialogue, 2/3 scripts. Kind of sound familiar? Scripts is a really crappy term. I hate it. Like sounds like your script. All scripts is knowing the right answer to give and the right words to give it to get the outcome you're hoping to achieve. It's being able to drive a conversation. The best scripts, questions. The second one always blew my mind. Good questions. Scripts are really all about asking good questions so that you can direct the conversation. You'll learn that whoever is asking the questions tends to be in control of the conversation. They kind of are determining where that conversation is going. So we're going to teach you good questions to ask, good scripts to use. Thursday will be your database is your business. So we're going to really dive into your database. Friday, set goals that matter. So we're going to use some of the goal setting tools to kind of hone in
If we know the goals, then we can set up the plan. Once we know where we want to go, then we can put the plan together to get us there. Delivering your value proposition will be Monday next week. Really understanding what we call like your elevator speech. If I rode up from the first floor to the fifth floor and asked you to tell me what you do for a living, what would you tell me? What would you do if I asked you how's the market right now? How do you answer that? The script. Gary Keller will tell you if you answer that with good, bad, anything in between, you should lose your life. Why? Because, well, it matters. Mike asked me how's the market. Well, Mike, I appreciate you asking me that. Curious, are you thinking of selling, buying, or investing? Well, I don't know. Why? Well, because my answer is going to totally depend on that. If you're a seller right now, oh my gosh, Mike, good times, brother. Or you also have to buy in this market? Ooh, not so good. Oh, you're just selling a couple investment properties? High five, brother. We're going to get rid of those so quickly. Are you looking to buy? Ooh, a little tough right now. The answer is totally dependent on what their needs are. So if I just tell him, man, the market's super high. Well, he's about to be a first-time buyer. That's maybe not a great thing for him. I mean, it's okay, but yeah, he needs to know the competition's going to be out there. So that answer will depend. So that's a lot of scripts and knowing your value. Then we're going to get into finding and winning the buyer on Tuesday. Wednesday, finding seller leads, so really specific lead generation for both buyers and sellers. Thursday next week, a day in the life of a real estate agent. And then Friday, kind of some market center specifics next week. And then the elementals, which we jump into in week 3 and 4, all about prospecting, marketing, doing open houses, meeting with sellers, meeting with buyers, making and receiving offers, negotiating to get the deal to fruition, your financial basics, contracts to close, and a graduation. So we talked about the daily 10-4, so we're going to start tracking that starting tomorrow. So you're going to want to have those 10 contacts into your database. Speak with 10 people out of your database, write 10 notes, and preview 10 homes. And outside of Ignite, it's dividing your day in between growing your business and running your business. For most of us right now, it's a focus on that grow your business and coming up with that lead generation. So tomorrow, we're really going to dive into multiple different ways to lead generate. Obviously, over the course of 3 hours, we won't go full on like into each model, but we're going to really kind of spitball a lot of different ways to do it. So that brings us to the end of today. What ahas do you have before we head out of here? Tell me something good. What was that?
10-4.
10-4, so you're going to do it?
Is that?
You're going to do it?
Some people that I've been messaging, so.
Okay. Messages to me count. We want to, it's either with a goal of 2 things.
Yeah, I need to get like address and stuff like that because I'm gonna write stuff.
Go ahead, I'd love to pop
Most of my
something.
contact, I don't have their.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. You saw mine was less than 30%. So it's, hey, I want to pop something in the mail for you. What's the best place to send that to? Just want to pop a little something your way. Little thank you note. Anybody else got any ahas for today?
The key is lead generations.
Yep. Learning all that command stuff's great. If you go out and you just talk to a bunch of people, we'll figure out how to get them in your data. You don't ever have to touch it. Say, I don't want to do that, but I got 20 people that are ready to buy or sell. We'll find somebody to handle your database for you. I can find somebody to create your website. I can find someone to create the marketing for you, but I can't find 20 people that want to buy or sell with you today. So you find those people, we'll do the rest for you. That can all be leveraged out. Anybody online, you guys got any ahas you want to share from this morning? Well, rock and roll. I will let you guys go. Y'all have a lovely Monday afternoon. If y'all need anything from me, just give me a shout. Sound good? Groovy.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Y'all have a great day.